see it, I'll repeat it. RCD in capital, 111,525.
R capital and CB,
Capital,
all capital.
yeah. R capital, C capital, B capital, 111,525. Any other way you want me to say it? So we'll keep it, the lady is holding it for you to take pictures. I'll hold it for you to take pictures if you need. You have multiple devices. You may not see it once you log in with your phone.
I was going to say. Oh, yeah.
Present. Okay, got it.
Somebody's gonna flip her or something. Everybody else is going on. Oh.
Welcome, everybody. Padma, already?
On everything.
We want on this be a presenter because presenter sessions be. Now, you type a Sorry, oh, yeah. She gave it, but it's not at our process. How. And the screens are all.
Sorry, guys, thanks for your patience. Still getting the technology.
Just for.
Still have to speak.
It's pretty rough. Pretty rough. Most people don't even know. I just started kind of at least amongst the finance. I want to take I share this with you.
Seats there.
Still here.
Can you make your hand, your seat next to you, that's free, so we can direct. There are seats here, please follow the hand, raise risen hand. Thank you. There are seats behind. Thank you guys. Follow your hands. Appreciate it.
I don't do stakeholder, you know. British company. Know the underlying. It'll be so it'll be usable. It's still very exceptional. It's so much diversity in my data.
Yes, right.
I think you say it's.
No, I mean. I think it's like I feel like.
Kiran.
You're gonna give us. Starting to make sense. Solutions. Boy, no, yeah, right. We got ours, right? I think we passed it on that, it's like, and you're making it, it's not. Some people don't know, to the interrupt.
No.
I've done a whole bunch of myself every day. I'm in the lead code for the last night at night.
Are we having AI? Are we taking AI? Awesome. This update is a mandatory. Here we are. I am Preeti Thanwar, Higher Success CEO, serving US colleges, universities in the data analytics and AI for over 24 years. And I have Priya.
Priya Sarati, I am a AI and data strategy consultant with Real Data Strategies, my own company, so definitely open for services, but just kidding.
Welcome to Microsoft Fabric and AI Keynote here in Atlanta, hosted by our very own thought leader, whom I'm so mesmerized by, Padma Ayala, who is data and AI strategist, also the CEO of VirtuTech, founder of Seattle Data AI, putting us all together here to learn more, and empowering women as AI engineers through her nonprofit Shakti. I resonated to her mission when she reached out. One of the major ones is let's build responsibility and let's build for impact. I love that. So she and her team has got a power-packed day ahead, demos, deep dives, and stories that proves data doesn't have to be dull. So please welcome Padma Ayala.
Big round of applause.
Good morning, Atlanta. They all told about me. I'm Padma Ayala, founder of the Seattle Data AI Security Community. Let's start this beautiful Saturday morning with gratitude. Thank you all for being here, for taking time on a weekend, learning, networking, and growing. I deeply respect your curiosity and your commitment to become part of something that's bigger than yourselves. Seattle Data AI started with a simple but powerful mission to create a $0 community for people of all ages and backgrounds to come, learn, share, and grow together. No barriers, no talk, just curiosity, collaboration, and innovation. We are not just another tech group, we are a movement. Blending innovation with purpose, ensuring data and AI serve everyone, not just a few. I want to take a moment and thank Jiva for his keynote, Sanjay Soni for flying all the way from West Coast to share his demo, and to my incredible speakers and partners for sharing your time and knowledge for free. You are the spirit of this community. I want to thank GSU, Dr. Sally, Beverly, Jessica, and the entire team for providing this venue space, the tech support, student volunteers for zero cost. You have shown what community sponsorship and partnership truly means. And my incredible volunteers, your passion, community, energy, is the heartbeat of every event that we do. Last but not the least, thank you to our sponsors. You are the reason why our vision thrives. I want to give gratitude to Eileen Digital, our title sponsors, and our goal sponsors, Cerebral and Everett, for believing in our mission, grassroots mission. Thank you again. As the day begins of learning and inspiration, I want to leave you all with a quote from Mahatma Gandhi. Be the change that you want to see in this world. Thank you. Welcome again to Fabric.
Okay, so we're gonna get started. I tried to get the best of fabric and pour this so that it's all about the fabric today. What is fabric? We shall find out. So, you know that everyone has a superhero story, right? They all wear their capes. But our keynote speaker did not have to wear the cape because he started his journey not flying high, but deep in the trenches. He worked with many different organizations learning about data and data technologies. But what he did in his last role in Dell was to listen to the customer's pain points, trying to understand what are the mysteries of databases and trying to tell them what is it that it takes when you look under the hood. Well, now he's dropped looking under the hood and started looking at a different kind of fabric, the Microsoft fabric. So Jiva has spent a lot of time helping other people understand about Microsoft Fabric. Today, as a global leader for Asia Analytics, go-to-market strategy and sales, he is steering the ship to scale data analytics. So I'm just curious, given that Microsoft Fabric is the leader on the Forrester Wave, what did you find under the fabric? And how are we going to do better, perform greater with Microsoft Fabric? So please welcome Jiva AKR.
We just want to have a quick note by GSU who has given us this place. Jessica and
Beverly.
and Beverly
Jessica,
for
sorry.
helping us.
Yeah.
Just a few minutes.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much all for coming. We are glad to host you, GSU. This is technically GSU campus. When you think about GSU, you usually think about downtown Atlanta, but here we are at the heart of the bucket, GSU campus. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to GSU. Welcome to Institute for Insight. My name is Saeed Mutawalli. I'm a clinical assistant professor and director of Mass Health Science Analytics program. So since you are here, I want to point out that we are each year we have a core program that we have about 100 students being trained to be data scientists, data analysts. So if you are here, I don't know where you are in your career, but if you can, if you're looking for to take some courses, please come to us. If you want to do the master's, come to us. If not, if you have a project, you want to do the partnership with the school, please come to us. You're welcome here. We have two phrases at Robinson. We say that no one gets closer than to business. No one gets closer than business other than Robinson. And then we are saying all road leads to Robinson. I think today we can see look at this amazing event, right? I think those phrases are very true. Thank you so much everyone for being here. I want to pass the mic to Beverly, so she can talk about
I'm Beverly Wright. I'm the executive director for the Institute for Insight at Robinson and College of Business here at Georgia State University. The Institute for Insight takes pride in developing the future of AI workers. If you're a student, can you please stand for a moment? I know most of y'all are probably volunteering, but any students, let's give them a hand. Give me. Help us help them, and in turn, eventually help our businesses thrive. Join the executive council. We have an interest meeting coming up December the 11th, right, and I think it's in this room, or no, it's in one of the other rooms, but it's right here in this building to learn about how to become a member of the Executive Council for the Institute for Insight. Some of the activities that you will take on include reviewing curriculum, helping support the students, guest lecturing in courses, collaborating with other executive council members at some of our upcoming community events, and more. So help us develop the next generation of AI leaders. This is incredibly important to break the chasm between the industry and academic communities so that we can collaborate together and build a better, responsible, and full AI future. So thank you for your consideration. You can reach me at bwright@gsu.edu. Beverly Wright, thank you so much.
And thank you, Wendy. They are awesome. They have opened up the university for so many different programs. So really thank them for opening it up for the fabric tour. Okay, so we're going to start Troy one more time. Let's welcome Shiva, AKR, with a loud applause.
Actually, just as Beverly and Padma actually shared that an event of this size to bring all of us together on one point morning, it's not just going to happen without a lot of people putting a lot of time together, right? So really, thank you for all the work that you have actually done and for all the volunteers who are actually putting their precious time to make this all even possible and provide an amazing experience, learning experience for all of us here this Saturday morning. So that's number one. And the third, usually whenever we go into the presentations, we usually say good morning. And then people will be very lukewarm, and then we will raise it up one more time. And then we are to call them, say, no, we need to go one more time, right? And then all the room will come together as good morning, right? So Padma did it, Beverly or Shahid did it, so I think third time may be the charm. Good morning, let's do one more time. Good morning. Hi, that's coffee working, so that's fantastic. So first of all, it's super exciting to be here in this university. When I was coming in here yesterday in the flight, I just checked what is the history of this place, okay? I thought I will just share three important things that will be very notable for many of you who may not have taken the time to understand the significance of where we are actually at today. One, the place where we are at right now, it's actually started in 1930 as part of Georgia Tech University as Evening College of Commerce. How many of us were actually aware of this? Raise your hand. Awesome. So there is a handful of us. Evening College of Commerce. And it was not until 1979 that it became Georgia State University. So that's fantastic. And then the second thing that I actually learned about was something that is inspiring. At a time when females were not allowed to register themselves for education, this university produced the first female graduate of entire America. Think about education is for all, and that's worth celebrating, right? And then the third, which is fun fact, I was just looking for some famous alumni. And of course, one everybody would have already known, it's Ken Lewis, who is actually was the CEO and chairman of Bank of America at some point in time. And then the second one, it said Julia Roberts. How many of you are aware of this? All right. But here is the thing. When I was checking it in Copilot, it actually said Julia Roberts briefly. So I was wondering whether her education was brief or her time at Georgia State University was brief. All right. So anyway, but excellent. Thank you for being here. I wanted to just do a little bit of head count about how we are actually mapping this entire audience today. So who are all from the academia community, including the professors and teachers and all the people who are representing student community? No, there are a lot of students who actually stood up last time. Yes, okay. So now who are all the professionals who are actually in the data space, the working? That's a lot, okay, great. But we still have at least 20 to 30% of the people who haven't raised their hand. I thought I covered between the two. Looks like we have some retirees here. I just want to make sure that we are not providing any share trading or wealth management class this morning. It's all going to be fabric. All right, wonderful. So Before we begin, every time when I have actually started a session, all of you are actually familiar with Copilot in your desktop. How many of you have noticed Copilot logo in your desktop in your PCs? Actually, pretty much everybody. I don't know the access rights that everyone has, but not a single day for me goes without using a couple of agents that I have in Copilot. One is the researcher agent, and then the second one is analyst. Think about it. If you want to look smarter in front of people in less than 10 minutes of work, those two agents can actually do amazing work for you. Just in the last 1 week alone, the number of times I have actually created white papers and the number of times I have created presentations and understood the content of the presentations just before going to a meeting, it is just unbelievably valuable. So if you have not checked what it is, check your Copilot, go in there, do researcher and analyst. There are two agents that are inbuilt already into those Copilot that comes from Microsoft. So you should give it a shot because many people think that it is only for practical use, but you should use it for your education purposes as well. So why did I talk about Copilot? Because we are all assisted with Copilot every day, right? And we need to have a Copilot for our session too. Don't you all think so? Say yes? Yes, okay. We will find the purpose of Copilot when we go, but there is a fun way of finding our volunteer Copilot for the session. So I need a volunteer here. Anyone? Volunteer? Yes, please come over here. Just fly a plane and wherever whoever catches it or lands, they're going to be our co-pilot. All right, very simple. Your name? Timothy. All right. Did you know there is a risk associated with this? How many of you are from India? All right. Actually, the reason why I asked for people from India is that there is a concept going on there. There is a concept of backbenchers. Okay. Backbenchers are typically not all that equally academically interested. They are actually in all the other things. So usually one of the most passionate things they do from the backbench is about flying planes. So the longer the plane flies, you know, the shorter the IQ. Of course, if it falls right here, then of course you are not a backbencher. You have been focused on your study. So you have a risk at there. Okay. People can take a snapshot of your IQ just like that. All right, ready, Timothy? Let's go. Go for it. Through it. Yes. Very good.
Yes.
I actually found a brainy to do this work. That's my fault. Look at that guy, Prashant. I asked him to make a plane. He actually made a plane, which didn't even cross his leg. Okay, and then I asked him to redo it, and now it flew actually 4 to 6 feet actually.
Timothy, that means IQ is high. I made him.
Yes. I'm talking about the rocket which didn't fly. That's because of yours. All right, thank you, Timothy. Come over here, I need a co-pilot, yes. So what do we want the co-pilot to do, okay? So look at this. He's going to be part of you. He's one among you. And I'm going to throw a lot of stuff at you in the next 30 minutes, which may be too many for grasping on a Saturday morning. But don't worry about it. Our co-pilot is going to grasp it and he's going to summarize it for you in 3 sentences. Is that a fun way of doing it?
That's my phone.
Yes. Your name? Juan. Juan, all right. We will find a chair for Juan. All right. You know, anytime when you present in front of people, it's always lonely in the front. So it's good to have a company. All right. Let's give him a good round of applause for make sure that you are paying attention to me because you are the communicator for them. All right, are we get started?
Yeah.
Awesome, great, wonderful. So let's go. I have about nearly 40 minutes. All right, I have 40 minutes. Let's make sense of what is fabric. And before we talk about fabric, I think the slides need to work before we talk about fabric. Can anyone help? Maybe not, it all worked. All right, so anyway, before we go through the why they are actually talking about it. One, there is tremendous amount of excitement that we have seen in AI just in the last 2-3 years time, right? almost it feels like we have been actually on a parachute, gliding, enjoying our life with all the big data, cloud computing, mobile computing, and all that. And then all of a sudden, that we feel like our parachute landed just in the middle of an effort race car track. Do you all feel that way? Right? The amount of innovation and the amount of innovation and the pace in which things are happening is just mind-boggling. Think about it. October of 2022, the first model actually came in, ChatGPT. And then in less than 2.5 years' time, we have what nearly 3,000 models. Think about for a moment. Okay. So not just the models, think about the evolution of all the ecosystem that came along with that one. It's like a frenzy. We are seeing $1 trillion companies actually getting into the mainstream just like that. It wasn't even possible in the entire corporate history for a long period of time. So we feel like every time whenever these technologies have actually come along, there was always an existential question that we have asked, which is about, is this technology here to stay, or is it the hype curve that we are going to go through? But based on the vantage point that we have seen from Microsoft and also engaging with our customers, there is absolutely not one single customer who is not thinking about doing AI or implementing AI in their organization. Think about the example that I just started with in my keynote, which is about using Copilot for every single work that we do on a daily basis. I don't scroll through trail of email without actually hitting the Copilot to summarize it. Get the context before you go through the trail of email. And the team meetings, you don't have to be necessarily part of all the things. It just happens every time whenever we go through it. And at organizational level, we see that there is a tremendous amount of commitment from our customers beyond excitement to put and to make this all possible. So absolutely no doubt whatsoever about the excitement behind AI. And of course, Microsoft is actually in the thrust into this whole leading space just in the last 3 years alone. Never before like this. There was even we have seen commercials between Apple and Microsoft where Microsoft was branded in a completely different way. But now this whole thing has changed. It is the perception value of Microsoft is in a completely astronomical place at this point in time. But what many of us don't realize today is that there is an equal amount of excitement for Fabric, because in the glitter and glamour of AI, that many of us don't realize the platform that is powering all of these AI applications from in the form of Fabric. Just for a moment, Satya actually wrote a letter to all the shareholders just about 3 weeks ago. And by the way, I request all of you to go and check it out in LinkedIn. It was published about that 3 weeks ago. And in the shareholders in the letter to the shareholders, he specifically called out Fabric as the platform for the data platform for the era of AI. And we have never ever seen such a platform within Microsoft which is actually going through it. For example, in less than 20 months since we have actually generally made it available as GA, we have about 25,000 paying customers who are actually using Fabric for one or the other workload. So many of the people misunderstand Power BI being equating to Fabric. Just to give you the number, Power BI is about 375,000 customers who are actually using for a month. Okay, that means every single company in the planet is using Power BI across nearly 200 countries. That scale is completely different. We don't include Power BI when we talk about the Fabric growth engine, because anytime when I have met and talked to customers, this is one thing that they always ask. And then the most important thing is about what we measure, which is about what, of course, every single progress that we make in any particular product is measured on how the Fortune 500 companies are actually adopting, right? 80% of the Fortune 500 companies today are using actively Fabric. More importantly, the most important thing for us is that, like I said, we keep the Power BI part away from the measurement of the Fabric growth and focus on 3 critical tier 1 workloads, which is data science, data integration, data science, data engineering workloads, data warehouse. And from that standpoint, more than 50% of those Fortune 500 customers, 80% of the Fortune 500 customers are using 3+ workloads. Think about for a moment, all for a product in less than 19 months' time. This level of adoption, this level of innovation, this level of growth that we have never ever seen in any of the Microsoft history, product in Microsoft history. And then to go and talk about the 3 C's, the consulting partners, the community, and also the certifications, okay? I want to get through this really, really fast because you understand what you are actually getting on this morning. From consulting partner standpoint, you can clearly see there are about nearly 6,000 consulting partners who are actually working with customers to provide help on Fabric. Most importantly, there are about nearly 140,000 consultants who are actually working on this. Just a massive scale, just in a very short period of time. And a major credit goes to people like Prashant. Prashant, raise your hand. You know, in taking all the partners to that level. Give him a big round of applause. It is phenomenal engagement with all the partners in terms of actually getting it through. And from community-wise, the reason why it is important for all of you to understand about community is because of this. It's about nearly 300,000 people. Think about it, that less than 20 months in the evolutionary product, we have 300,000 people. That clearly shows about where everyone understanding the value of Fabric, right? And then going through the certification process. There are about 15,000 certified engineers today. We have issued 50,000 certifications just for people who are actually specializing in Fabric. And I don't want to steal the thunder, but Prashant is going to come and give you a free voucher for all of you who attended today who have not taken the Fabric certification. So you can get your free certification for you as well. Okay, it's something that is nice to have. I don't know whether you're not planning or what, now you're committed to it. All right, it was in the floor, it was in the moment. All right, so I created a lot of frenzy for Fabric. How is check Copilot? All right, you agree with the excitement? I like it. Awesome, great. We need to make sure Yuan doesn't sleep. All right, so now let's go and understand about why there's so much of frenzy, okay? I'm not going to talk about the product Fabric because there are a lot of people who are better than me, better qualified than me, who are going to come and provide you the nuts and bolts of Fabric. But it is equally important for us to understand the value of Fabric in a customer environment. Why there is so much of customer adoption for Fabric. So I want to create a clear understanding about why before we go to the what and how in Fabric, okay? So now let's go through this. All of us in this room have heard about digital transformation, right? Until October 2022 when ChatGPT came along, believe it or not, this is the most fanciest word used in every single corporate world for nearly 10 years' time. Do you all agree? Give me your hand. Yes, digital transformation. Nobody talks about it during these days. No one even talks about it. The problem is this. Digital transformation investments were majority of the time were focused only on the app layer, right? Modernizing the applications. The customers had a lot of legacy applications which they started to migrate to cloud one at a time. And then they thought, oh my God, you know what? This is not going to be sufficient for me. This is going to be like a 20-year project. I need to modernize this whole place. And then they brought it all together into cloud. A lot of great things that actually came out of that. So we saw the evolution of microservices, like the containers and container management technologies taking prime stage in the app development. How many of you use containers in your daily life, right? In your world? Absolutely everybody uses it. It's like using your phone. You cannot be a developer without using a container. That's the standard that it has actually come in. Now, when we saw the DevOps as a de facto standard in the way that we have actually developed applications, so something is going on, no problem. So, but if you think about it, the app layer is in a completely different level of maturity, right? But the underlying data and the data infrastructure is still sitting in legacy technologies. So if you look at all the research reports that are published by Gartner, IDC, or name any one of the analyst firms, They all say that 70% of those digital transformation investments did not provide value back to their customers yet. And if that reason is very clear, app level, working in a completely different level of maturity, and the data estate is still saddled with all the legacy systems. You put a bullet card in front of a Ferrari, doesn't matter how fast your Ferrari goes. It's going to run at the same speed of the bullet car, right? So what's really happening is that the customers already understood from the lessons from the digital transformation investments that whatever they did for digital transformation, focusing on one layer did not work, and they are using it as an opportunity to revisit the data and the data estate. Think about the complexity of the data estate, right? What used to be a single on-prem for majority of our customers, right? So who are all the end user customers here? Give me your hand if you are a direct customer. Not a consulting organization, but you are a customer of a product. Yes.
Like that.
In fact, you are a customer too. You should raise your hand, sir. All right, okay, thank you. So, when we think about for a moment, okay? So all these customers used to have, majority of them just one single on-prem. And the entire data estate was confined to that boundary. And we used to have data retention policies for a moment. Think about that. Every 5 years, we actually threw away the data. That used to be the way we actually came along. But now in the last 20 years, what we have seen is that those one single on-prem has proliferated to multiple data systems across multiple geographies, and majority of the time for Fortune 500 customers to all the way to the any lower customer, it's multi-cloud environment too. Can you all take a guess about how many number of copies an average customer has, an industry average of the same data? Three. Okay, anyone take a guess? How many number of the same copies of the same data that is sitting within your organization?
Can we ask the co-pilot, please?
Can we ask the co-pilot? Yes, co-pilot, what's your take? More than 10, okay, that's a politically right answer. Microsoft co-pilot. Right, anything more than it, you don't have to worry about it. So the industry standard, lucky that you're all sitting on a chair, 420 copies of the same data sets are floating around. Yeah, co-pilot was right, more than 10. We have a job for you in Microsoft. Right? So think about it, 420 copies of the same data set. Now, what source system produces all this data, and all this data get proliferated to across the organization. And then when everybody starts to modify the data for their own purpose, they edit their own color, their own reporting and all that, it just sits in multiple different places. So when our customers are actually thinking about AI, when they want to train an AI model or apply an AI model, which one copy of the 420 copies that they have in on-range, they're going to apply this on? Just for a moment, think about the gravity of the problem that we're dealing with. Right? So,
I don't know what.
It always makes it for a fun environment. Fun break. All right. So every customer that we speak with understand the value of data foundation. So are we all clear about why data foundation is actually gaining mainstream with the mindshare of our customers, and why that has actually resulted in adoption of Fabric? Are we all clear so far?
Yes.
Awesome, wonderful. Thank you for being with me. You can take a nap right after this, okay? Anything for this. So every one of the customers today understand that they cannot repeat the same mistake that they did with app environment, just focusing on one app layer. But this is an opportunity for them to think about this in a more holistic way, where they have to think about the infrastructure, the AI layer, the data, and then the people. I always ask the customers anytime when I go and meet, who are the best people to work in your AI? And they always say some other consulting company, but I tell them that, you know what? It's your people who are the best people to work in your AI, because they have the context to our data. I'll just play a simple example so that you will understand, you will get behind my line of thinking, okay? So for example, Zach is actually sitting in the table right here, and he's a CIO here in the local firm. So he goes back to his desk today, and then he sees a yellow little note that says 4 p.m. question mark, okay? How actionable is it for him to look at that yellow note and say 4 p.m.? Absolutely zero value, right? But at the same time, if the note says 4 p.m. at the bottom Jiva, immediately he can actually connect the dots and say, you know what, I ran into Jiva yesterday morning. We both talked about grabbing a coffee for tomorrow at 4 p.m. So he is just asking for me to meet when to meet. Is 4 p.m. okay? So all of a sudden, that data becomes actionable. He will call me, he can make a decision. Hey, Jiva, yes, I am ready to go, or I'm not ready to go. All because you know where the data came from, right? It's a simple example. It's a simple example. And imagine the corporate world, the complexity that we have. We talked about Bank of America earlier for some of the reference. They have about nearly 20,000 applications which produce massive amount of data over a period of 30 years. No one knows where the data came from. No one knows which application produced all this data. No one knows why they collected all the data, retained the data. So if you don't know all of these things, imagine the 6 p.m., 4 p.m. example that I gave you. If that level of action lies with just one entity, then a small yellow table, yellow note, think about an organizational challenge that you're dealing with, right? So let's, if you think about it, so again, I think I ran into the transition issue. So if you think about what's happening in the industry, I think I may be. Yes, so let's play the example out, okay? So until 2 years ago, one of the hottest trend in our industry has been the RPA companies, right? A lot of great companies actually are still thriving in the ecosystem. Companies like UiPath, APN, and a lot of different companies actually came along in this ecosystem. And absolutely, they did some really marvelous work in automating the business process for a majority of our customers. But what we have seen in the last 2 years is that those RPA technologies actually is making more way for single agent systems, which is becoming the standard already. I already said that in the way that I engage with single agent systems. The single agent systems, Copilot is a great example. They're very good in content search, the content summarization, semantic search, the content summarization, content creation, and all that stuff, right? So these are all single purpose agents that are really good, and we have almost come to a point where actually this is a mainstream in every single person's life today. Even for 3-hour itinerary that if you want to go, just go to Copilot that's in your iOS device or in your Android. You can get a highly curated 3-hour itinerary for any place, 3 days or 3 hours or 30 hours, doesn't really matter. But you will get a highly curated one, which I used when I was in Austria in FabCon. All I had was just 1.5 day. I asked it to curate an 18-hour trip for me, and I had amazing choice. Go here, go do this, from there take a taxi, go here. You will save time and all that. That level of coaching never existed before. So we are already at a very, very high level of sophistication when it comes to single agent systems. But where we are actually seeing the industry going today is about multiple agents working autonomously, working collaboratively, making decisions based on the data sets that are actually coming into their organization, based on the data that is coming through the systems, and then solving complex problems. Think about for a moment. I really had this experience 3 weeks ago when I was flying to Dublin for SMEC event within Microsoft, okay? So 3 hours before the flight, 4 hours before the flight, there was a nor'easter. Thunderstorms actually went through New York, and was in all of the Northeast area. And a lot of flight disruptions happened. 4 hours before, I got a call from United Airlines, and I saw, why is United Airlines calling? I was actually in the nursery with my wife, and into picking up some plants for the fall. And then I picked up the phone. It said that my flight for the evening has been actually canceled because of the thunderstorms. And they have made alternate arrangements for me. It said in the call that open your app, United app for the available options that we have provisioned for you. So I opened the United app, immediately those options were right on my screen. I didn't have to do anything. And all I did was, now with the phone set, scroll through the options and pick the best available option that fits your travel. I picked the second option. Immediately the phone knew that I'm picking the second option. It said that, can you confirm again that the revised itinerary meets your schedule? I said yes in the phone. Immediately the app closed. Okay. And all the confirmation was right there. The phone said, thank you for confirming the revised itinerary, you are all set. I was like, wow, where in the world that I'm actually living in right now? In the same 3 hour before disruption, that is 4 hours before a flight, will take me 1 to 1.5 hours just to reach the customer service agent. And here, standing in a nursery without me doing any work, in less than 2 minutes, the whole issue was taken care. That's just an example of what we are actually seeing in the ecosystem. So I'm just quoting 2 agents working together to solve the problem, okay? But what we are seeing is that it is going to be more and more when customers are actually going through it. So excitement is off the chart. More than 90% of the customers understand the value of the multi-agentic systems and the place it has in the impact it can have in the organization and all that. But like I said in the beginning itself, almost every single one of the customers are concerned about their data quality and their data estate and data foundation. In fact, I don't know how many of you are aware of this or not. If you have seen the recent survey that is actually published for all the AI use cases which has actually gone into production, if those AI use cases dependent on publicly available data, 90% of those POCs have gone into production. But if the same POC and pilot was dependent on your own enterprise data, only 11% of those experimentation has gone into production. Think about for a moment. When your POC is on a publicly available data, it goes 90% goes to production. But when it is on your own enterprise data, it fails. Now let's understand why that is the problem. Okay, let's check on our Copilot. You're gotten it all? Yeah.
So far, so good.
So far, so good. All right. What is the 3 things that you want to summarize? Yes. See, we have a wake-up audience. Yes.
Power BI is not counted with Microsoft Power.
Very good. After that's the base. Yes.
Second thing, I'm gonna get a free voucher.
Prashant. Yes. Free voucher from Prashant.
And 3 seems to be very important that the people that actually is used to use the data is part of the digital transformation. Leave it to the consultants. So
yes, don't leave your data behind, right? For any transformation, you need the data to go along with you. So our pilot has done quite well, right? And also the Microsoft level, answering, that's quite good. So now let's look at the financial. So how many of you are in the financial services, financial industry here? That's quite a few. All right, so even if you're not a financial services customer, you're not a from financial services industry, we are all a financial services customer, right? We all bank with any institution, so we can get behind the line of thinking in terms of examples. So any financial institution we bank with, they have their retail banking, they have their corporate banking, they have their investment banking divisions, the customer service, which actually collects all of these things. So all of these banks that we work with today, they are all creating all different agents to work on this, right? So for example, working on the retail banking, every single customer interaction company, they want to have it. They want to see what is the cross-sell opportunity that we have. And investment banking services perspective, they have to summarize all the key stock movements so that they can provide the best advice and all that stuff. This is a part and parcel of all these services that they provide. But you can clearly see that I put 10 to 30% in every single one. So the reason why we always say that is that it is not you go and deploy an AI agent and it is going to work flawlessly. It is an iterative path. The models, first of all, are not consistent. They need to get consistent. So what I'm talking about is if you go and ask the same question in 5 different times with the Copilot or whatever the agent, the ChatGPT or whatever, you won't get the same 5 results, right? Majority of the time. And the reason for that is that the models are not consistent. So we are in a phase where even models are getting consistent. So we should not assume that the models are already at a place where it is highly efficient, highly and effective. So one, they are getting efficient. The second thing is that you are in the process, your data has to get a better quality than what it is today. So all of these things have to support it. So we always tell the customers that have reasonable goals. Your world is not going to immediately transform just because you deployed an agent. You need to stay close to it. You need to monitor the performance. You need to see how these things are evolving. That's the progressive path that we need to do. Target 10%, 15%, go for the 30% and all that stuff. But now let's see, customers go and deploy, build all these agents, right? And all these agents are actually highly trained in a high quality data sets that's kept in a very confined environment. Anytime when you do a POC, where would you do? You're not going to do it in a large data set. You are going to keep it in a place that is highly trained in a one small area, right? Almost every single POC the customers do will flawlessly work because you are training that model on a highly curated data sets in a small confined environment. Now, all these agents go to real world. Now, let's look at the real world environment. Each and every retail banking, corporate banking, and investment banking, they have their own set of applications, right, that they use on a daily basis. Now, all these set of applications are producing massive amount of data, and those data are sitting in data stores or in SQL Server, Postgres, or Oracle servers, you name it, MongoDB, Cosmos DB, whatever the DB, right? All of those things are sitting in all those different systems. Now, when you go and deploy all these agents on top of it, what are the chances that it will actually function exactly the same way that it did during your lab POC pilot testing environment? Zero, right? So now you make the problem a lot more complex. This is not just the data that is coming from your application systems, but it is also the data that is sitting in your legacy systems, like we talked about, multiple on-prem, multiple cloud environment, multiple geographies and all that. So now you understand why agents fail, why AI transformation cannot happen without a solid data foundation, right? Ta-da! That's where Fabric comes into play. Now you understand why Fabric again has gained a lot of mind share from our customers and has gained a lot of traction in the last 18 months' time. It is amazing to see the customers understanding the value of it. So one of the most critical component value within Fabric, sometimes we think about Fabric as one monolithic platform. It is not. It is a very highly composable solution made up of a lot of different compute engines, a lot of different capabilities put together. The most important value add in the entire Fabric is OneLake. Okay, and I think Prashant or someone is going to talk about OneLake in detail. But the idea behind it is that many times customers misunderstand that OneLake is another data storage. It is not. OneLake is a data foundation which comes with all the software layer on top of it to provide data visualization capabilities. So let's play back the same example that we had. You have all the legacy assets that are sitting in data, multiple on-prem, multiple data systems, multiple geography, multiple cloud. Now you can create a shortcut from your OneLake to have access to all the data sets that are actually sitting in your other systems. Gone are those days where customers had focused on migrating all the things from one location to another. It will never ever happen. You can get your journey started right here. So one of the biggest value proposition is shortcut. The second thing is, remember the example that I played in the prior slide, where all these applications produced all this data that is sitting in SQL Server, Postgres, Cosmos, Oracle, and all that. Now all this data is actually going to be coming into your OneLake environment without customers doing any single work through mirroring capability that we have built in. And the customers get free storage for the mirrored data that comes from your SQL Server. Think about it. Today, you know what your customers do? All those data that sits in your SQL Server and all that, the customers do massive ETL work. And then they have to bring all the data. And you know how long it takes? It's massive, depending on the time that we are talking about. So all the data is available in near real time without customers doing any work at all. With the change data capture capability, okay? So we are going to talk more about the the mirroring capability. And more importantly, we are doing something that the industry that we have never ever seen anyone else doing, which is the open mirroring capability. So we have created an open APIs for OneLake, where all the ISVs actually can connect all the leverage open APIs to put all the data into OneLake without customers doing any work. So if you are a CIO, if you are working on an AI project, think about for a moment, right? You don't have to do any work. If you are deploying the AI agent, all data that you have in your entire data estate, whether it sits in Amazon or in Google or in Azure, you have access to all of those data through OneLake, through the shortcut capability. All the applications that are being produced, all the data that comes through the applications that are coming through your OneLake in the mirrored capacity right here itself. All of this are right here. And then all the third-party ISVs who are actually sending all the data to your OneLake platform too. That's why OneLake is actually super, super critical for every single customer, because it's not a data storage, it is a data foundation for powering the AI. That's why Satya actually mentioned that in the annual letter to the annual shareholders, that this is the data foundation for the era AI. Now you all have a clear understanding about this. You need yes or no? Did I let you all sleep? Awesome. Awesome. Great. Thank you. You know, Saturday morning, think about it for a moment. You all have a lot of chores going on, right? The calls, the classes that we need to take it to, and all that stuff, but you are spending time here. I want to make sure that you got the best value for it. And if you don't understand why Fabric, then you'll think that it is just another platform from Microsoft, then you will not be able to get the whole context behind the whole frenzy in Fabric. So I'm trying to give you the why of Fabric, why it is taking a relevance. You all have an appreciation for this?
Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. Now, more importantly, that all the ecosystem that didn't have Microsoft system, whether it is AI Foundry, M365 Copilot. So many times customers ask me, Shiva, why should I use Azure OpenAI when I can actually go to Copilot, when I can actually get a ChatGPT? Do you all think about this in your mind?
Yeah.
Right? Awesome. So I will give you a simple example, which is can your ChatGPT search on the emails and all the SharePoint data that you have, or the chat, Zoom or Teams communication that you have with your team?
No.
Can it access? No. So whatever ChatGPT can actually produce will be based on the publicly available data or whatever the last data that it is trained on. But your M365 data is the most critical data, because you may have exchanged a lot of information about this particular event or about a particular project that you have actually worked on with your team. You have got a lot of valuable information from that. So imagine that you have a Copilot where it is grounded on your own enterprise data, personalized on your communications, right? And then it also connects with all the publicly available data that is available there. So imagine the power that we are talking about right now with just integration of the M365 capability. Believe it or not, it saves me every time when I talk about it, because sometimes we would have communicated some valuable information with our own colleagues, and a lot of valuable information would have come from the colleagues in the last 5 months ago, and it would have just escaped your mind. But when you are actually working on a large project, that information gets pulled in, and then it's like, wow, I completely missed this. This is an important critical point. We already made a decision. We already did this, right? So to ground yourself on that is very, very important. So every single one of the customer understand that they cannot just take off with AI models. So today, every time, whenever in October, whenever the AI frenzy began, every single conversation that we had with our customers was always focused on choice of model, model availability, or cost of the models, the GPU availability, the GPU cost. It was all API for accessing the models. All of our conversation was focused on just that part, the intelligence layer, for first nearly 1 year. Now the entire conversation is shifting towards my God, I cannot go with just the intelligence layer, but also I need to have the data layer to go with that one. Right? Sorry, man. I did my best, but you still napped. I got you there. All right, okay. So how about real-time data? Okay, so you have, one of the most important thing that an organization cannot avoid is, now we talked about so much on the historical data. Now what's happening on the real-time data? Every single customer, I mean, we are customers for many other organizations already. We have opened any of your app, and if you have interacted, believe it or not, we are all sending a lot of information to the whoever created that app, right? So every single telemetry information, whether it is app log data or it is a stream data that is coming from event logs and all that stuff, every single IoT data, that's all going to be already part of every single organization. So think about for a moment. For majority of our customers, challenge until now was being able to bring all those data into your OneLake environment. So today, with the RTA capability that is already pre-built into Fabric, customers can have access to thousands of pre-built connectors that are available. So literally, you can actually do a drag and drop. Yesterday, I was talking to two different people in the two different customers in another event. They told me that I asked them about, hey, why do you use Alteryx? And they said that, well, you know what, Alteryx, we can use it because a business user can actually connect all the different data sources, right? So for a moment, think about it. You have thousands of pre-built connectors actually available on which you can seamlessly bring all the data back in here, right? So you're going to hear a lot about this as we go through the whole day, but super important framework that I wanted to share with you here is that once you help customers to bring all the data in grounded on OneLake, and you help customers to avoid all the data, the data duplication, the 400 copies becoming a single copy, then you have access to all the data sets sitting in multiple different on-prem, multiple different cloud environment to one single place. You can really enable them for any number of applications on top, right? Customers can choose to run all the data warehouse, data engineering, and data science workloads on Fabric, or if they already are invested in Databricks or Snowflake or any other third-party ISV solution, they can continue to do it. Because the most important thing that I want to walk you away from here is that every single data that is actually in OneLake is open standard and open format. Right? Open standard and open format. Think about the value of that. Your IoT brings in like hundreds of types of data. Your application brings at least 20 different data types. And then you have all the event streams and all that comes through your app log and all that. To bring one project, you know where the majority of the time is being spent? ETL and data transformations. Data preparation work. 70% of the time is being spent in analytics today is on that. We are removing the need for it today on that one. So I know I'm almost at the time right now, but I just wanted to finish it off with this thought. Fabric plays a major role for customers. Our single idea is this. This is my final slide. That anyone who touches the data should be able to use only one copy of the data. Anyone who touches the data, they need to have all the tools that they need to take the data from the lake all the way to the business user or to AIJ agent. Every single tool that they need should be available in the same platform. They shouldn't be able to go and buy different systems and do a system integration work. So where Fabric and co-foundry, the AI Foundry is taking is to help the customers to bring all the integrations together in that one, okay? So this is where we believe that majority of the AI transformation becomes possible and customers see the possibility with OneLake. So thank you for being so attentive. It is amazing to be with all of you this morning. What do you think about this, Yuan? What do you think about Fabric value proposition?
It's like this time you're gonna have one more copy of your data, but now you know where it is.
That's a good one, okay?
So you really
I know he was with Microsoft all this time. I don't know what happened.
you have another hood on 400 pieces of duplicate data, try to put them together.
Yes,
in one
yes.
link and have one single source of truth for the data.
Yeah,
Not
most
just-
importantly, when you bring all those data, you can also do the data duplication too. So that's.
Thank you very much, Eva. And I want to keep this question for you in mind is what does it take in your organization using Purview? Get that one copy that everybody uses instead of view only, access one copy and bring it together. So thank you so much for the
All right,
session.
if you thought the value you got out of my session was super, wait for this showman, okay? Sanjay Soni can bring a lot of things, you know, he's a showman of Microsoft. Give him a big round of applause.
So much. That was a perfect jump start to our awesome morning. But don't go, Jiva, I do have a question. You said that if you, the presence itself will give you free license, right? There are 4,603 colleges and this session was awesome because I'm telling you, each college would definitely want that. Because each college has multiple colleges, multiple departments, and their data is all in Hydro. But you want that one copy. In fact, in each college itself, 100+ copies exist. So tell you that.
Yeah.
So am I getting the free license for 4,603 colleges?
Yeah, so let's do this one, okay? So there is only not a lot of yellow shirts right here, but there is only one yellow shirt right there. All right, so please reach out and you should get certifications, but to tell one more thing like what we talked about. I don't know how many of you are aware of this or not. Fabric is actually free for all of you to try. $18,000, or sorry, $17,000 of usage for free for first 2 months is actually available for you. There is absolutely nothing that stops you. You don't need to put a credit card. Go sign up for Fabric. In less than 3 minutes, you will be off and running. Do the drag and drop and see the magic happens, okay? So it's available for everybody.
Thank you, thank you. And it seems like when he was mentioning about like, you know, different agents, 1, 2, 3, so it seems like agentic AI is almost like an intern who's doing all the job with no coffee breaks, with no n number of questions coming to your cubicle and still getting the job done. And I was like, okay, that's nice. So I do have one question, Sanjay Soni. Where did Sanjay Soni went?
Right here.
Oh, okay. So I do have one question because we keep saying obviously we got to keep human in the loop. So when he was sharing the example, one question is for the agentic AI, if it's going to do so much of complex task, can it do one simple task, like just making him remember the 10th anniversary date? So if it can do multiple things, I wish if the agentic AI can have him remember the anniversary date, or maybe can plan the dinner date or plan all of it. And I think if there's so many different things, so it can automatically tell that guy that okay, you need to upgrade the ring. All that agentic task can it be done and make it harmonious relationships. Which when I asked, then these are the complex tasks can be done and these easy tasks can be done too. With our give me 1 second. So speaking of all these complex and simple tasks can be done by agentic AI, and speaking of people who make these ideas to reality of making these complex tasks, intelligent actions look effortless, we have the product evangelist pro himself here. Please welcome Sanjay Soni, Director for Global Cloud and AI Technical Sales Enablement Experiences at Microsoft, driving $1 billion plus ROI, leading industry scenario innovation, and creator of the incredible dream demos and deployable POC accelerators. Today, he's going to show us Fabric and AI, whiteboards powered by agentic AI. Thank you. Please welcome Sanjay Soni.
All right. Hello, everyone. Can you all hear me in the back? All the way over there. Yes? Awesome. So yes, my name is Sanjay Soni. I've been with Microsoft 14+ years, but last 8 years have been super amazing. Okay, it's about what I do every day. I enable 3,000+ Microsoft's technical sellers with awesome content. You know, so demos, whiteboards, labs, and good stuff, right? But I'm very, very happy to be here with you. I just have one question for all of you. How many of you believe in enjoying every moment in life? So then, all we have to do is the next 25 minutes I have with you. You know, you're going to show me some excitement, energy away from those phones, messages, and everything else. So, are you ready? Yeah. Okay, no, better than that. Are you ready to have fun? Yeah. All right, so that's what I'll do because I flew all the way from San Jose, California for these this half an hour. So we're gonna make it fun, okay? I thought it's all in half an hour. Even though I love Atlanta, my favorite moment in Atlanta is Stone Mountain sunset. No, I do not climb up. I take the cable car and I walk down. I just love Atlanta. My niece lives here and I'm very, very happy to be here. How many of you are from Atlanta? I'm sure most of them, 90%, yes. And how many of you are students here in the house? I talked to some of you. Look, can I tell you something? 30 years ago, I did what? 25 years ago, I did my master's from US. It's all worth it. Okay, work hard and you'll have fun. Today, let's just get awesome there together. So with that, let's go. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna spend 80% of the time on the demo. I want to show you a demo, one slide, and then demo. Okay? In the last 5 minutes, I need to make sure I don't forget. I want to talk to you about whiteboarding as well. Something super, super cool. Sounds good? All right, let's do it. With that, Microsoft Fabric plus AI demos in action, and let's go. That's all the only slide I have on this one. So what I'm going to do is I want to share with you something that I have not shared externally ever before. So this is, I just conducted a training within Microsoft for 3,000 plus sellers. And I was explaining to them, what do? What is my new job and everything else. He can say, okay, here we go. Hopefully you don't have to see this, right? Let me know if you can hear the sound and you can see this. Can you see the screen? Oh my goodness. So I have to explain to everyone what do I do at Microsoft. So I came up with this video. Oh, by the way, I have to say this to you. Jiva is my mentor for the last 2+ years. It was a dream for me to present with him on stage, and here I am. So give a round of applause to Jiva. Jiva, so I was explaining to the team, sellers, what do? I'm like, my job is tech enablement experiences. And I want to explain to you, there's a reason I'm explaining this to you as well. Because, you talk about demos. How many of your partners in the house? Partners. So, and of course, your customers and students, So when you do demos, but what's next? After demos, what? So that the scenarios, the experience I'm building is from demos to the next step. So let's take a look. And I love traveling, been to 56 countries, 7 continents, including Antarctica, love it. But I love islands. So you have to guess for me, there's an island east of South Africa. It's a beautiful island, and that's what this whole thing is kind of filled. Let's see. Yeah, it's going to be video. Any start the race in an island in East Africa. And here we go. Start with the demos. So any journey, start with demos. But what if we could have a scenario from the dream demos and go all the way to the next step? Whiteboarding. So from demos, you take the scenarios, take the architectures, take the whiteboarding, and from there, what do we do next? POC accelerators, GitHub repos of the code of the demos. So the good news is, I'm going to share with you, the site is very simple. ak.ms, write it down, /MS Dream Demos. So demo, I'm going to show you, the demos are available for external customers and partners on MS Dream Demos. Even GitHub repos are available. How many of you are developers in the house? Developers, yes, so you can use those code as well. What do we do next? And right. What if you could have all the experiences in a connected way, right? That's my job. So well, can you guess what island it is? Okay. Near Southern. It's near Seychelles, Mauritius. Yes, it's all good. All right, enough of hype, enough of this. Let's get started with the demo. So what I'm going to show you is the demo, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to play a story for you. Okay, it's a story about a place. And there you go. Demo in Atlanta. Then, believe it or not, I use Windows PDF Legacy because it doesn't, it has the full thing. All right, folks. I'm going to tell you a story about a company called Zava. It's a story. It's a story of a CEO. Her name is April. And later I'll ask you questions about characters as well. And she is a believer. And she's new to this organization company called Zava. And let's see what happens next. So once upon a time, folks, there was this company called Zava. They are a retailer. They have hundreds of brick and mortar stores and they have an online store. Here she is. the CEO, April. And you know, everybody cares for these things, right? So the market, they have all kinds of personas, marketing, supply chain, of course. How many of you love Black Friday shopping? So this demo is about Black Friday shopping. That's all it is. It's a shopping demo. That's it. So she's new to the organization and she wants to make a difference. And she's preparing for the Black Friday shopping day, right? That's all it is. Let's take a look. I want to showcase Fabric in this demo. I want to showcase OpenAI, the agentic AI. I want to showcase for you the teams, and you'll see everything working together. Okay? With that, let's get going. So here she is, new to the organization. She wants to improve the marketing side, supply chain, merchandising. She wants to prepare before the Black Friday shopping, during the Black Friday, and after that. So here we go. She has a dream. The dream of a dashboard like this one, where they can see data from the past, they can see for the present moment. But that's boring, isn't it? What's more exciting is the decision for the present moment to the next moment, real-time intelligence. How many of you are doing real-time intelligence in your company? How many of you are doing RTI, real-time? And how many of you would like to do it? Come on. I want everybody to go, yes, that's what it is, right? So that's what she wanted to do for the present moment to the next moment. But then even more exciting, with the present moment to for the decision for the future, predictor. You're with me, past to present to next moment, and the next moment to this one. Greetings, easy. The problem is, as you can see, the demo starts January last year. All KPIs are brown or green. Doing good or not? You think they're brown KPIs or green KPIs right now? They're all brown KPIs. Everything was bad. And she wants to look at this. Out of 7 campaigns, 3 are not, only 3 are effective. 40% customers are going to the shopping place, they're not buying stuff, they're leaving the stores. Imagine how would you feel? So let's say, Preeti, if you go to a store, and if your product is not at a Nordstrom or wherever, or Old Navy, wherever you go, you'll feel bad. It's out of stock, right? Where you go. So that's not good. And so she wants to improvise all the good stuff. So what does she do? How many of you are working in data space today, analytics data space, you know? So that's what she does. She talks to the chief data officer and of course the team. And this is something you can relate with, hopefully. Data is everywhere. And I think he said 400 plus copies, right? She was said that. So data is everywhere. How do you bring this together? That's the hardest part. And yeah, that's what it is, right? And then also they're acquiring a company called Litware. They're using Databricks. Anybody using Databricks today? Databricks users? Awesome. And how many of you are using Fabric today? Fabric, just using Fabric. Okay, cool. Power BI, anyone? Power BI? See, Power BI gets all this, the most hands. So that's what they want to do. The acquisition and this company, how do they bring all this together? And that's what the challenge is. So talking to chief data officer, here he is, super frustrated. He's like, I want to be chief data officer, not chief integration officer. Right? You with me? So what? That's the hardest part. Welcome to Microsoft Fabric. Chief already talked about it. There's so many experiences. By the way, how, you know, do you think, am I right in saying this? That Microsoft Fabric for the first time brings all those 8 plus products together. Can we get a round of applause? Right for the you know, Microsoft IT for 7 years. I built an enterprise data warehouse, BI space. It was all different products for so many years. They're all in one place now, right? Now this picture I'm showing, you can take a photo of right now. Feel free to, right? So that you can take a look at this. So this is architecture of the demo that I'm going to showcase for you. So bear this in mind as I'm showing you fast and furious demo after this. I'm doing the setup right now. Okay, ready? This is what will happen in the demo box. You'll see data coming in from Oracle, Snowflakes, SAP into Lakehouse. Okay, data pipelines, data project on notebooks, several ways to ingest data. Then our RTI. We have real-time intelligence sensors in the store. Retail store. Think of your favorite retail store whenever I'm talking about the whole demo today. Okay, that's all shopping. So your data coming in from there into OneLake. Okay, with RTI. Then you have this Amazon S3, AWS Gen 2. We also have GCP as well. And we have shortcut mirroring into OneLake. Okay, so what's of it? Now on the right hand side, you notice SQL Server, anyone? How many people have SQL Server? I still remember my SQL 7 certification long time ago. So SQL and Cosmos, those two, right there, also mirrored into this one central place. Now, what is this all about? Is this about ETL? It's not about ETL, it's about the rest of the stuff. Look at this, all the experiences you have in engineering, data factory, data warehouse, databases, RTI, data science, and Power BI in this demo I'm going to show you. And then right hand side is super cool. Everybody loves OpenAI here, agentic AI. So that's what I'm talking about as well. With Fabric, amazing integration with AI Foundry. So AI Foundry, right, part of the mix where you have AI agents and OpenAI. Okay, working with me. And so how do you expose all this to people? through some kind of web application or phone application. That's the shopping assistant. When you go to the website, shopping assistant is there. That's that. And then Databricks, you have Unity Catalog, Mirror Catalog, and then you have Copilot Studio, Teams, and Justify Copilot, and security review. You with me so far? All right, let's dive in. Let's dive in. So here we go. The very first thing we will do in this, by the way, entire thing I'm showcasing for you is a live hosted demo within Microsoft. So, and it's not a video, it's a real live hosted environment. Our thousands of sellers are using this every day. That's what my job is, to have the centralized instance of these dream demos for all thousands of sellers. And also with Prashant's help, where is Prashant? You know, with his help, shared with partners as well. You see the site I shared with you, MS Dream Demos, has a subset of all these demos over there. Click back, click demo videos, you can do them. Okay? So you are definitely, I don't get repos as well on the demo. Okay, cool. There we go, folks. Here we are in Fabric. We're ingesting data from various ways. You keep uploading this. Here's a shortcut we are creating. How many using Amazon? Amazon S3, anyone? Amazon. Okay, so you can get a shortcut from your Amazon S3 data right there and into OneLake of Fabric. Okay, and then this operations data, products data, all the good stuff. Simple shortcut. You're not moving any data. And here we are in the OneLake, AWS. This is the right there, few files, and you're simply not only shortcutting the data, but also metadata. Okay, yes, there as well. Now that you have this data right here in one place from Amazon, you have Google shortcut, by the way. ECP data, same thing. You have something called AI-powered shortcuts. So when you are getting this data, you have social security number or credit cards, you don't want your analyst to see it. So AI-powered shortcut, you can say, look, we are at detection right there. So don't just take this data and show it to everyone. It detects PII and hides it. Come on, round of applause. This is exciting, isn't it? But the message I'm only getting warmed up. This is just, I have to show you this hard part, right? Then it will be fun, the fancy part. So that was that. Now ETL, then we have 150 plus connectors. SAP, Oracle, doesn't matter what data source you have. Now I have to ask you this question. How many of you have done ETL in your life? ETL. ETL. Oh my God, I love, because that's the real job. Right? ETL. Hard. It's very hard. It's very hard. And that's really, really cool. Now, what if I could show you right now? And of course, some of you know this. But we have a Copilot for you now, friends. Look, I'm asking the Copilot on the right side, because I've done ETL in my life as well. It's very, very hard, you know that. But what if you could say, apply first row as headers? Look, it's doing it. Apply first row as headers, remove null values from cross value, and it's doing it for you. Come on, round of applause. This is exciting. The Copilot is doing this for you. You just ask, it's an assistant for you. This is really cool. And of course, not everything is all magical. You have to work hard. Now, is Snowflake anyone? Snowflake. Yes, so Snowflake data can be mirrored into OneLake now. And you have a connection between them. Really, really close partnership between Microsoft and Snowflake right now. Really, really cool. And Databricks, anyone? You have Databricks data. From Databricks, you can have this mirrored. We have a special Microsoft Azure Databricks catalog connection, mirrored catalog. So what do you have in Databricks that you love the most is some kind of catalog. What is the name of that catalog? Oh, Unity Catalog, exactly. So Unity Catalog can be mirrored into Fabric. And then you have a connection. Unity Catalog, something changes there, you still have a connection. Database is our first party service for us, so we have closer connection as well. So you have those two so far, so good? Oh no, okay, yes. Now let's take a look what happens next. Because once you have this data, now that database data is in OneLake right now. Okay, so you're connected to Unity Catalog. So now we got all this data in one place, and then what do we do next? I know. So let's fast forward. This is it, folks. Look at this. This is that OneLake. We have data coming in from Cosmos DB, from SQL Server, and no. Oh my God, that was something very, very surprising. I don't know why it happened so fast. Look at this. So data is in this one, in this catalog, you have data coming in, and look at this, data is going from SQL Server, Cosmos DB, all going to a central place. Imagine this I-75 highway which is not stuck. Come on, look at this. Where is it going? What do you think where it's going? It's going to a beautiful, beautiful one place. From all those places in real time, it's called OneLake. Come on, folks, round of applause. Look at the OneLake. And now that we have this data all in one place, this is the query which is going after in the same query. You are able to query data from Amazon. Look at this one. This is very, very important. Amazon, Cosmos DB, Snowflake, all in a single SQL query. Right? Good stuff? That's really cool. Now we just got warmed up. We have this OneLake. And imagine this April, the CEO's name, right? Now our dashboard. Doesn't matter where data is coming from. Look how many sources of data is there here, right? You can see it's coming from Snowflake, this data, SQL, where it went up, doesn't matter, all in one place. Now, how many of you have used Power BI? Okay, so before Power BI, I want to show you something cool. Spark, anyone? Spark programmers? The new folks are, I'm sure, Spark programming. So what I'm showcasing here is 1 trillion rows of data. So they had this billing statement, they acquired this company, okay? They want to see their billing data. This is 1 trillion rows of data, 14 terabytes of data, all in this one lake. And you can write Spark jobs, which can take only a few seconds to write. So this is real. This demo is real within Microsoft. So our sellers showed all the time. That's the great stuff, right? So Spark jobs, look at that, 5 seconds query, because we want to know who's churning, who's not, what's the value, what are the customers that is overdue. This is it, Power BI. Power BI, how many of you have used Power BI Copilot? Lately? Okay, how many of you use Power BI? So let me show you this magic right now. Okay, ready? And here we are. We are in Power BI. We're asking this question, what's in my data? I was in IT, people used to ask me what's in your data warehouse, but you can just ask the Copilot on the right side. This is really, really cool. Look at this, folks. I'm asking Power BI to create a report. What's in my data? It's about country table, good stuff. Create a report that shows net sales in this thing, and it creates a Power BI report for you, right there on the left. Super cool. And it is interactive. It's interactive. You know, it's not just a static report. You can change things. And now you can say, replace variance to budget by country visual, the map. This is cool. Because once you have a report, what do you want? Insights, right? For LT, leadership teams. So now you can ask this question on the right hand side, you know, what are the creators executive summary for me on this report? And now let's do it. It's doing it. How many of you know Hindi? Anyone Hindi speaking? Let's see. Now I'm going to say it in Spanish. Oh, Spanish? Anyone Spanish? Yes? Okay, so it's Spanish, but now I'm asking it Hindi. And let's see what it is saying. I think it's saying, किसी प्रोडक्ट को शिद्दत से चाहो तो पूरी कायनात. No, it's not. I'm a fan of Shah Rukh Khan. It's a Bollywood joke. But what I said in Hindi was basically, if you really love something, you know, in terms of product, the whole universe attaches to you. Like the book Secret, which I also follow by the way in my life. That I love the book. All right, let's do it. Let's keep going. And here we are just summarizing this whole thing. It's getting insights for you. Now imagine if you have a meeting with your leadership team, and you want to anticipate, you're going to present a report to them. How many of you have done that and you're nervous before the meeting? Of course, I've done it all the time myself. So what if you could ask Copilot to give me the questions that leadership team may ask? Like that? Come on. Yes. Look at this. Look at the magic. It says, hey, just show me some questions that my leadership team may ask. Try this out. This is something super cool. So after this conversion, and this is it right there. See, leadership questions. There you go. So you're ready with all those questions. What factors contribute not instead of having the highest box? So is that cool or what? Yes? All right. With that, let's go to the moment you have been waiting for. And that moment is RTI, real-time intelligence. And this is the moment from January, we went to November all the way now. And we want to see in real time what is happening in the stores. So don't miss it. So again, one more time. How many of you have done the Black Friday shopping in your life? How many of you love doing that? I still go there, you know, so many years in US, I still love the 6 a.m. There's something about that day, the Black Friday. So imagine the moment when you were shopping, and imagine that moment right now, okay? The 6 a.m. for Zava, the company, the journey so far, what was the journey? We started demo in January, you're with me? April was new. She asked all the data from all over the place. We got this data in one place with Power BI, but that's just good stuff. But what about this RTI, real-time intelligence? So now imagine the store is opening at 6 a.m. in Miami, Florida, and people are coming into the store. Let's see this in action. And here we go, folks. People are coming to the stores. We have IoT sensors. Data sending in from IoT to IoT Hub, Event Hub, IoT Hub. And look at this right here. You can see this particular IoT. Oh my goodness. What happened there? That was so quick. My developers keep forwarding that scene. I'm like, pause it. It's so good. Let's see this one. Sorry, I have to show it to you. So here we are, folks, right there. So you can see movement of people in the store. You with me so far? People are coming in. Let's see which aisle. This aisle is really, really popular. Which aisle is this? And let's walk into the store. So imagine, what's your name, ma'am? Beverly. So imagine we are walking into the store. Bluetooth beacons are capturing the data in real time. Going to Fabric real-time intelligence, and we can see what is happening here. Oh my goodness, this was the aisle. Wines aisle, you know, and I know that 6 a.m. who buys wines, but probably there was a promotion that they come and the wines too. But look at this. This is the next level too. Did you know that they can actually see where you're looking in the stores as well these days? I know. You know, so they could see this campaign is really working for those wines. Maybe here is where you're looking more. See, how about that? Oh my goodness, what is happening here? People are coming to the stores right now. You can see our aisle dwell time. How many from retail? Retail, anyone? Retail? Okay, cool. So you know what I'm talking about. What's the aisle? How much time are people spending in this aisle versus that aisle? Real time going to Fabric RTI. This cashier has nothing to do. Like nobody's buying anything, you know, what is happening here. But guess what? And then suddenly what happens, you can also notice here that how many people are entering the stores, leaving the stores, right? All the good starts with me, so far so good. This demo gets better, don't miss it because I want to go to it and look at this. Suddenly there's a line, there's a lot of long line here. We can deploy more. Those are caches. Yes, exactly. Cashiers, right, Jiva. More caches can be deployed here as well. And then what is happening now is this the magic. This whole data is in real time going into this one place, and oh my God. Look at it, it's all part of a Power BI report. And this is not just a video. You can see in real time, people coming in, people going out, what's the temperature like, what's the aisle dwell time. This is really cool. In real time, not only for that one store in Miami, imagine what I'm saying to you. There are 100 stores all over US. During that Black Friday shopping, you can see in real time, you know, how many people are coming in, going out, what are they buying, and what is the inventory like? What can we shuffle in real time? And what is the, if something is uncomfortable for you, you will leave the store, right, Preeti? So that's what this whole thing is all about too, temperature within the stores. And what is behind all this? Right here, Fabric real-time intelligence, okay? So we have data streaming from Event Hub into our, into our event database right here. And look at this data. Data is actually coming in about thermostats and all into this Fabric RTI right here, KQL database, and then you have this real-time dashboard. Come on, folks, round of applause. Then we are the dashboard is super cool. Data coming in. Let me see quickly if I can explain. You see data, basically inventory level. Foot traffic, temperature of the card, and everything else all in a single dashboard. Then we also have anomaly detector. If temperature is too hot, you will leave the store. So we have anomaly detection there, and then it can actually send the alerts and can automatically fix it, obviously. And this is real, by the way. This is happening. These demos are, by the way, based on real stories, real customer stories. I'm not just saying this is really good stuff. Okay. So now Digital Twin Builder. So imagine you are planning for Christmas or forget Christmas, even today. Imagine you're a store manager, okay, David, if you're a store manager right now, and you have some people in the store, like they're in the shifts, you have shifts, right? People are either present right now in these 5 hours or they are not present. But in real time, you're seeing that today I might need more people right now. So you need to combine, you have to balance it with the people who are working today versus what the traffic is versus the other thing. So Digital Twin Builder allows you to match the data from the past and the present, the real-time data coming in. And look at this data, folks, right here. In real time, your data coming in, and you're able to match all this data with what you have in the past, and you can dynamically plan the shifts in people. Are you with me? Really cool. And let's go to the simulation for Christmas. Imagine now you're planning, David, you're planning for Christmas. You have this data from the past, you plan. Correct? This is part of Fabric RTI. And activity alerts, and I'm going to go faster. And you can get all these kinds of alerts as well. That's there. And then, okay, cool. So far, so good. Okay. Now, how many of you would like to see agents? Data agents, AI agents. Come on, how many? Okay, that's the demo. This is what you were waiting for. So we did the hard part. We got data from the past, data from the present, and now is the moment you've been waiting for. And how many minutes I have? Okay. Can I take 10 minutes more? Okay. Because this is it. You don't want to miss this one. This is it. So you have this Fabric data agent. Come on, remember I told you I flew all the way for this half an hour. This is live right there. So Fabric data agents. You have data from the past, data from real time, and here's the data agent that Shiva was talking about, wherein you can ask questions here, right here, hey, this is it, see Java event house. Event house is the word I was looking for, right here, event house in real time. And we have this Copilot, we can ask these questions very, very easily here. Hey, because semantic models or the reports, doesn't matter, everything is here. Asking the questions, what are the key insights on customer satisfaction and lower churn was high for us? Can you visualize this in a table? So it comes back with all the good stuff. You with me so far? This is cool. Obviously, data agent is doing this job. What if you could bring beyond this AI boundary? So this is there's only one screen here, but I want to make this point very easily. You have Fabric, and then you have AI Foundry, which is part of our Azure AI stack, right? So in AI Foundry, you can bring the data agents from Fabric as a knowledge source. And that's what I'm doing. And you can have multiple agents, it's like Vignesh, right? So that day, I'll tell you a story. What happened over there was, as they were creating these agents in AI Foundry, so they said just like Mission Impossible movies, which I love, they were talking to this like manager agent, supervisor agent. Your job is to coordinate with all these other agents, right? You can see the agents right here. So essentially, look, business analyst agent, product agent, planner agent, all these agents are being defined in AI Foundry. And it says, hey, your job is to make sure that what the customer that we get to get answers about all kinds of data, billing data, this data, that data, and look at this. So this is the AI Foundry we are getting using Fabric Data Agent that I told you before as a knowledge source. You with me? It can use all kinds of stuff, but that is the connection we have between the two. And now we go. And this is the inventories. Oh, by the way, all the things I've shown you, this particular demo, this scene is the best one. This is what actually is real in terms of inventory manager. So if David, you're my store manager in my example, let's say, and I'm talking about if you have a store in Miami, and Beverly, right? And customers like Beverly and Preeti come into the stores and they don't find products because stock is out in Miami. So imagine you have an agent this is why we did all the good stuff. Imagine if you could ask the agent one question. Analyze look, this is the question you're asking right here. Look, analyze the current sales. Read it with you guys, if you would, indulge with me. Analyze the current sales, inventory levels, margin data for all SKUs across all stores. Prepare a reallocation plan for all the stores you have. You have a lot of stores, right, David, around US, store 1, store 2, store 3, and these are the products they have. Maybe you have access, maybe inventory is good, shortage or not, you understand. It's saying, look at all my stores in US and get an inventory and reallocation plan. Okay, with me? And look at this, I'm going to run the query. Let's see what happens. What happens is pure magic. It just basically, look at this, Copilot talking to planner. Planner is talking to the manager agent, Venkatesh. You create the Vignesh, right? You create the manager agent. It's talking to sales analyst. All those agents working together and getting data from one Fabric data agent, and Fabric, OneLake is the one. And comes back with an answer. Look at this, Autumn Spice, this store has less inventory, that store has less inventory, whatnot. You can move the things around and then look at what is happening now is basically look at this data set, analyzing everything we came for. It just says, move this data, move this. Oh my goodness, drones are in the house. They're taking stuff from Miami store of yours, David, and they're moving to Tampa. Come on, guys, round of applause. This is good stuff. Thank you, David. Right, super cool. And last piece, come on. Oh, I can do this. These are my stretch demos, but I will do it for you. So this is the Copilot Studio. This is citizen developers who don't know any programming. What if you don't know anything about AI Foundry? How many of you use M365 Copilot? Jiva Heda. M365 Copilot, anyone? What if I could get all this data to M365? Wouldn't that be the ultimate dream come true? Yes. So now I'm showcasing for you the magic in next 2 minutes here. So we have the data in the OneLake and everything all good. But here we are in Copilot Studio. Saying use that good stuff, create this agents for me. Which customer segment is most likely to churn? It is using the data behind the scenes from Fabric, data agents and everything else. Comes back with all the good stuff. And once you have these agents right here defined in Copilot Studio, you can publish it to 2 places. How many of you use Teams? That's all, right? Look at this. So now we are getting that data from there to Microsoft Teams, okay? Microsoft Teams. And then ultimate goal was M365 Copilot. So same thing here, you can get all that information into M365 Copilot. And there you go. That was it right there. So far so good? Okay, how about AI? AI demo, agentic AI. Agentic AI? Real quick. Okay, let's do it. I'm gonna go fast. I'll try to go as fast as I can. I'm gonna skip this part of the demo. I'll take you directly to this one. Okay, so cyber, Black Friday shopping is, how many of you love Cyber Monday? Cyber Monday, anyone? Cyber Monday is a good one as well. So here I am. Imagine we have a website, and I'm going to use Beverly, like your name again. Okay, Beverly, let's say you love shopping. And imagine you are on their website, just like Amazon website, but with a difference. What if Beverly, you say to them, hey, Cora is the shopping assistant, okay? And say, I'm going to Greece for a summer vacation. Have you been to Greece? Anyone? Greece? Anyone? Santorini? Amazing place. And what decisions do you have? Can you show me some outfits for my vacation? So it just goes after that, and now it comes back with these vacations. 2 ideas for you. Look, this is not random stuff, Beverly. You say look 1 or look 2. Which look do you like better? Look 1 or look 2? Look 2. Okay, so look 2. My developers agree with you. Usually people choose look 1, but they chose look 2. That's all good. So that's exactly what it is. So we can say, hey, can you add some sunglasses to this one? Yeah, something like that. Now you just look at this amazing experience for people. You going to Nordstrom site, whatever. Or you can upload. Next up, you upload a picture of a celebrity. Let's say Priyanka Chopra. Anyone knows Priyanka Chopra? What if I upload a photo of a celebrity, and based on that, I can recommend some looks for me. Super cool. Really, this is next level stuff. Now imagine, after all the goodness that you have, you're going to Udaipur, India. By the way, I'm Rajasthan, so I had to. So Udaipur, India. So look at this. You're going to a wedding in India now. Yes, and you say, can you send some pictures, some look 1, look 2 for that? How cool is this? This is next level designer. You have a fashion designer with you, right? And now what happens after that? I'm going to fast forward a little bit and fast forward to this scene here. After Cyber Monday, what happens? Lots of returns. Returns have been, I know, returns have been. Customers are unhappy and da da da. Here I am. I'm going to use a name here. Your name is Hassan, sir? Hassan? Saeed. So Saeed, imagine if you're a supervisor agent, Saeed. And by the way, thank you for inviting all to GSU. Give a round of applause to GSU folks. This is exciting. This is really good. Yes. So now imagine you are a supervisor at this company, and you have an angry customer calling you right now. Would you pick up the call? No, oh my God. Albert, thankfully, to help you, we have a supervisor agent, we have an agentic AI solution, okay? Supervisor agent, all these other agents working together with you, okay? So now Liam Williams, unhappy customer, he was charged twice versus what he was supposed to, and then he calls, right? Incoming call, Liam Williams calling, so the supervisor agent on your behalf picks up the call. Hey, what's up? He said, you charged me twice. He said, let me investigate that. So this was too fast and furious. I have to explain this to you. So now what happens is the call comes into supervisor AI agent. Okay, they're with you. And AI agent is working with all those, remember the Mission Impossible scene of mine, working with other agents behind the scenes. Okay, these are all AI agent. Data agent, okay, customer profile, billing agent, what happened? Okay, data agent, billing, when bill correction, he says, I apologize. Can I do something for you? Again, a virtual agent is talking to the customer, and bill correction agent, all they work together, and they give him a credit. They are happy, you are happy, right? Give a round of applause to say, you got the right people behind the scenes, right? So that's all. Now let's conclude this whole thing, and I'm going to just fast forward. By the way, the 200 billion rows of data, direct click mode of fabric rocks. Try it out. This is right here. I'm showing face for you. This is it. The whatever happened at the end, they got data from all kinds of places. And the chief data officer's team, the analyst Ava, was able to bring all the sales reports and data from reports of sales data coming from, doesn't matter. Sales data, marketing data, all these reports coming from all kinds of places on a single place. By the way, how many of you would like to have access to the Power BI reports and dashboards I showed you today? Come on, more hand, otherwise I'm not going to share. All right, the website, write it down. ak.ms/DPOC, Dream POC Accelerators, Depop. GitHub repos, okay, we'll send it to you, fine. But right now it's more fun, Is it DPOC or MS Dream Demos? By the way, I have to say something. iLink is a close part of.
We'll send the link. Or BI link.
Oh, the ak.ms/DPOC, Dream POC Accelerator, DPOC. I've got team with that. Yeah.
We'll send the link because you have registered with us. We'll send all the links.
I just want to say something about iLink. Okay, these folks are Dream Demo Center of Excellence partners for last 2 years, and they can implement all this kind of stuff with you. They, we share all the Dream Demos with them, and they can implement for you anything you like today. Okay, really cool. iLink, super cool. And oh my goodness, I'm running late out of time. So let's keep going. Look at this, folks. So they look at this. The dreams come true. Okay, this was the dream on December 10th. Here's CEO April showcasing the green dashboard with real-time data coming in. And look at this. And she got super excitement with all the attendees. She got the retail conference. She presented the green dashboard data from the past. She got a lot of applause from the audience as well. And we are going to December 31st. You know what happens that day all over the world? They celebrated Java. The company celebrated New Year's with fireworks in Australia, Dubai, New York City, and oh my goodness, in Java. Come on, round of applause for the company, for all of you. And you know what? I will say something to you that the CEO of this company, April, believes in, and I believe in my life too. Okay, folks, just be unique. Okay, love what you do, and feel good about what you do. And you know what matters the most in life? And I tell you, do good for others. Thank you.
There's one song that is coming to my mind after all this awesome presentation of yours. You remember the Rishi Kapoor one? Apni ada hai yaaron se juda hai bachna hai hasino lo main aa gaya. This is the kind of energy he gives, and thank you so very much for giving a beat to the agentic AI, turning ideas into reality with this being demo, and giving a peek of your AI in Foundry. Thank you so much.
I just want to say one last thing. I'm so sorry, I forgot one thing. Can I show you 2 minutes of whiteboarding? 2 minutes. Whiteboarding. I forgot. Yeah, just 2 minutes. 2 minutes. I promise. I just want to show you this because I promised you. 2 minutes. Right there. So, folks, the demos you saw, what we're doing is confused. How many of you have heard about the tool called Microsoft Whiteboard? Microsoft Whiteboard. Use it. What we're doing now with iLink actually is converting those demo architectures into Microsoft Whiteboard templates. Now it's going to get better. We got Copilot yesterday. So right here, you can use this in your customer conversations. Okay, folks? You can just look, drag and drop, and you can just do some good stuff. Okay? With that, thank you so much. That's all I want.
All right, thank you so much. So now, let's switch gears, building smart systems using agentic AI to building smart careers. I'm a mom of 2 teenagers, 16 and 18, and I can tell you, guiding their career is like debugging code. They say they want direction, but they reject every solution. And my 16-year-old is almost like giving a GPS to someone, you just go there, but he already has made up his mind that he's not gonna follow that way. But we do have someone special in our place, Prashant Gutala, who is who's going to show us how to build careers using Microsoft Fabric. That's why I'm excited to hear from Prashant Gutala, Principal PM with Microsoft Fabric Engineering, here to share how Microsoft Fabric can help shape your career path. As a global partner ecosystem leader for Microsoft Azure Data, Prashant collaborates with some of its world's innovative organizations, solving real problems with data and AI, guiding C-suite leaders and startups, and helping companies weave their data stories without getting tangled in them. Let's welcome Prashant.
Pre-certification.
So, thank you so much, Jiva, for setting me up here. Think of Santa came early, right, this year. So you're all in luck. Thanks for taking the time to show up here on a Saturday morning. It means a lot. My name is Prashant Gutala. I'm part of the Fabric Engineering team at Microsoft. Been there from the very beginning of inception of the product. We can't be more excited about how fast the product is growing. Thanks to all the customers that are falling behind the product and supporting it. and more importantly, our partners. I work with partners very, very closely. They're very close to my heart. We have 3 sponsoring partners here, and thank you, because without them, this wouldn't have been happening. I want to really appreciate and thank iLink Digital, Sellable Technologies, and Level Shift. Level Shift is a local company here. Again, if you are looking for partners to work with, and you should be, if you are a customer thinking about Fabric, then do look into these partners very closely, as they're working with engineering very, very closely with us. Okay.
Can we recognize them? Can we call the iLink celebrate and also?
Yeah, can you all get up if you're the partner organizations in these 3 companies? Can you just stand up so that you can recognize you? Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
So with that setup, let me switch gears, right? We've spoken about technology quite a bit now. We saw the dream demos from Sanjay Soni. We're all excited, right? Let's start with some basic questions here, right? How many of you have interacted with kids, let's say in the last year or 2, right? How many of you have interacted? Any interaction? This is not a trick question, by the way. Right? You know, so your parent or your uncle, or one way or the other, you interacted with kids. I've done 2 quite a few years now. So what is the question that the kids keep on asking? They're pestering. What are those things that there's one particular question they ask every day almost, my kids. Yeah, okay. There are a lot of people who know the answer here, right? Why? Right? Why is this? Why is your shirt color blue? Why is the sky blue? Why is your face not blue? Right? So it's like, where do you stop, right? So let's start with the same thing, okay? Why do you need to learn Fabric? Okay, what is so special about Fabric? And I'm just standing outside Microsoft, let's say, right? I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible and data-driven as possible here. I mean, this is a no-brainer, right? This slide I don't even have to show, right? We are living through this dream. AI is transforming everything that we know of. If AI is transforming, so why don't I learn AI, right? Why should I learn data analytics now, right? Or Fabric? The reality is this, okay? Now, the data is the power of AI, right? Without data, the AI will only spit in its garbage in, garbage out, right? But if you look at what the CIOs and the businesses are grappling with, this is the scene that they are grappling with. Every little icon here is a data product out there, okay? So they're going to your Black Friday shopping, buying a few products, cobbling together something, creating some bandages, trying to make AI work. It doesn't work. Again, they go back, right, buy some more products. It doesn't work. So this has been the challenge for a CIO, right? They're all becoming the chief integration officers, trying to cobble all this and using, running the business that way, as opposed to becoming the chief information officers, right? Or the CDOs. So with this challenge out there, Fabric was incepted about 3 years back. The concept is, Microsoft has technologies like many other products, right? And we have point solutions. But then we said, we're going to create something unified, right? Unified in the sense, bring data, have a logical layer of data, which is, we are calling it OneLake, right? And you have seen the demo that Sanjay Soni showed before, where data can easily be brought into one place. It can be secured, it can be governed. And then you have these different workloads that can operate out of data, right? Whether it's analytics workloads or something that can handle real-time streaming data or real-time intelligence. Then we have databases. We said, okay, if analytics can be handled by Fabric, why not we bring the operational databases, right? SQL databases, Cosmos databases into one umbrella, so that now the companies are not grappling, okay, what is the next product I'm going to buy for handling streaming data, or vector data, or map data, geospatial data, whatever data it is, right? We wanted to create one platform so that you're not focusing on stitching and cobbling and getting the data and making it work. The data is already available. Now you're focusing on AI use cases, right? So this is the concept, and this has taken off like a rocket ship, right? In the last 3 years, we have more than 25,000 customers that are already onboarded on Fabric, and this is the fastest growing data platform that Microsoft has seen in the last 50 years, okay? So with that growth, Now we say, okay, you have 25,000 customers, so what, right? Now, the next milestone is all the Power BI customers, right? There are 375,000 plus Power BI customers out there. Then the great news is they're already Fabric customers, okay? Because we are not selling Power BI separately. Every Power BI customer is a Fabric customer, meaning they already have all the Fabric capabilities. It's just about they're realizing the value and start using the Fabric capabilities that are there. So this is the next milestone. So if you thought 25,000 was great, you're already looking at 375,000 customers out there that already have Fabric but are not probably using it or don't know how to use it. And it is our job to show them what is the art of possible and how they can unlock the value that they already have bought. Okay. What this chart doesn't show is what about all the Excel users? Right? There are millions and millions of Excel users that will be graduated into Power BI. That means they already have Fabric. Okay, so the potential for growth is astronomical. Okay, so what we are seeing is really a tip of the iceberg, right? So with that, recently this came out like a week back, right? Forrester Wave has done a research, and this is an independent analyst firm, and they have put Microsoft all the way to the top. Right? In terms of strength of offering, in terms of strength of strategy, we are way ahead of the game. Okay, so this is a great news, and this is why we think you should spend your time and energy and some effort to build your career on Fabric, because this is a rocket ship that is already taken off, and it's got this lot of potential to grow. And we know it's not just about technology, right? As much as I talk about technology and we're passionate about technology, the reality is it is the people, right? Now, you've seen in the last 10 years or 15 years, all these different personas, right, that we have. Oh, I'm a database admin, I'm a data engineer, I'm an IT administrator, I'm a business analyst. Guess what? Fabric brings all of them together, right? And the community is growing at a very, very rapid pace. There are more than 392,000 community members, right, across close to 80 countries. And from here onwards, if you have the phones, and I think most of you have, please take them out, because the Santa time is coming, right? A lot of QR codes are coming, so you can all capture all those. So the best way to build a career, I'm going to share 3 or 4 points, right, that you can start implementing right today. The first thing and foremost thing is join the community. Okay, if you go to aka.ms Fabric community, right, or grab this QR code. This is the first step in your journey, right? If you're not already a member, please become a community member. Okay, so you get notifications. You are now part of the network. You understand what is going on in Fabric. What are the conferences that we are doing? What are the technology updates, right? Product updates, and so on and so forth. Now you can also have access to the forums. Okay, so you can go to each of these forums that are there and then ask questions, answer questions if you know the answer, and be part of the community. Now, as you become part of the community, you may also want to see, okay, how do I learn Fabric, right? Another great news. We have 36 plus hours of content already created, and it is free of cost, right? You don't need anything for Microsoft to do. You just go to the Learn modules, and there's step-by-step instructions of how to get started. There's a free trials that you can enable, right off the bat, and start using the product, get hands-on experience, learn the different workloads, what they do, and what are the different use cases, and so on and so forth. So number 1, you join the community. Number 2, you get through all the learning modules. Then what? There are local user groups. Okay, Atlanta has 2 user groups, the Power BI user group and Fabric user group. Get to know the people around you, right? There are weekend meetups, right? Like this, you meet the people, learn from each other, and this is a great way to stay connected, right, with the local community that you have. Okay, so step number 3 is identify the user group that matters to you and become a user group member. Step number 4, then what's the next thing? Certifications. I promise you, something is coming very big, is coming very close, okay? So certifications. How do you get certified? Okay, so there are 2 certifications for Fabric, and I'll tell you which ones those are in a bit. But the good news is there is step-by-step guidance of how to get certified. Okay, if you are a data engineer or a business analyst or a student getting started, the best investment that you can do for yourself is get certified, okay? Because once you get certified, you are signaling that you know enough fabric to start working, right? Or if you're already working, even better, right? You have some examples and get certified so that that's a badge of recognition. So go to Microsoft Fabric Career Hub and get all the help you need to get certified on Fabric. And what are those certifications? Here these are, right? I promise this is not a test and this is not a replica. There are two different badges here. One is the Fabric Analytics Engineer, the other one is a Fabric Data Engineer, okay? So I'll tell you quickly which one to pick for who. If you are an analyst, that means you're working on Power BI, visualization, semantic models, right? Then go with TP600, right? The Fabric Analyst Engineer, Analytics Engineer. That's a great starting point. But if you're more of a data engineer and you work with, PySpark and you do data warehousing, right? And you do transformation, ETL, right? Then the best place to start is TP700. Okay. Again, both are at an intermediate level, right? And it is a great way to get certified and show your expertise. And this is the big slide that Jiva was talking about. Okay. Now, if you are at a point where you already spent some time, right, learning, and you're at a point to say, hey, I can get certified with a little bit of push nudge from Microsoft, then please take a note of this. This is a free certification, right? Anytime there's a word free, right, my ears pop. So it's a free certification, okay? So you don't have to pay anything. You just have to get the voucher code. And even more, there's something called Fabric Data Days that we are investing on. So there are live instructors that teach you Fabric. You can be part of those, live sessions that are happening. They started from November 4th onwards until December 31st. So you can give yourself a gift by January 1st by getting certified, right? Take this voucher, go through these learning sessions for 50 days. There are contests in those sessions, right? It's a fun way to learn and get certified on Fabric. So if you are there and you can jump onto this, we have some limited supplies of certification vouchers. Please do be part of this Fabric Data Days and get certified. Okay, so that is the big announcement here. And to wrap up things here, what is good if you just get certified, right? You know the knowledge. Now this is when you become superheroes, right? So we have the Fabric Super User Program, okay, where you can start helping others to get certified, right? You can write your thought leadership blogs, and you can unlock basically, access to the product engineering team, a lot of swag, special badges, vouchers, and so on and so forth, right? So yeah, here I am in the last 10 minutes. Hopefully this was useful to you. I try to showcase why you should become, Fabric certified, right, and be part of the Fabric growth engine. And secondly, not just get certified, but also contribute back to the community, right? Like how the organizers here are doing, and become those super users and help the others to become certified, help others to be comfortable with Fabric implementation and be recognized as a super user. So if there is one thing that I want you to take away, become a super user, get certified, and we will see you back in the Fabric conference. This is the Microsoft conference, and this is going to be the biggest conference, and the best news is it's going to be in Atlanta, right? So next March, the FabCon is going to be in Atlanta, and it's going to be the State Farm Arena. It's beautiful, right? And it's going to be the biggest ever FabCon. And there's another code here, right? If you're not registered and take advantage of this $300 off, please do that. Love to meet all the super users in the conference when we meet again in March. Okay, so with that, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for coming. Can you have a big round of applause for him? Thank you. Clearly, Fabric, it isn't just a platform. It is actually a career accelerator, as you have seen. Prashant, I do have one question on behalf of the students. Around the two certifications, for the students, which one do you feel in the Microsoft, because everyone is aiming if they can get a job in Microsoft, which one do you feel will have more job opportunities to doing their certification?
That's a great question. I would say, look at your interest levels, right? If you think you are more like a business analyst that is going to be working in visualization, and that is something that inspires you and you want to work closer to the business teams, right, with companies, then going with DP 600 makes sense. Okay, that's much closer to the front end. But if you are in your heart, you're like a a PySpark developer or a SQL developer, or you want to do more of a data engineering, like transformation, little bit behind the scenes type of work, but data excites you, right? And this we're talking about streaming data, real analytics, and so on. Then DP 700 is a great way to get started. Okay, so
Yeah, so I hope students are getting all these notes about it, and I know you have a lot of questions on your mind, but we are very much in touch with the time, so we will have all these questions during the lunch session. Right now, we are taking a 5-minute break.
Yes, please.
5-minute break.
There's a lot of anxiety out there.
Yes,
So.
so we're gonna be just 5 minutes, and we're gonna be right back, and
Yes,
there's a lot
are
of
right on
questions.
the side.
Yes, they're on the right hand.
And then if you wanna go upstairs, there are rooms upstairs too. Please be back in 5 minutes. We had a very exciting session with a demo, so. Work on this. Thank you.
I'm a stretch.
Nice maybe head up, but yeah, I know, yeah.
Trying to sell.
Good.
Trying to sell. Walks out. That's right use case.
But I'm saying
Yes, see, you got it right. No shit.
Next is available.
what do you want? I can't do it. No.
Yeah. And like, to keep
It matures. So once it does mature, though, because you're saying it's happening.
A lot of it is happening.
It is mature. With play, you sort of try to build on top of it. It's gonna. Business intelligence.
I mean, I guess in general.
Yeah, fabric, problems, everything. Yeah. Pressure.
Okay.
Guys, to have the.
Because everyone's all three of us are there. Much are AI.
But I think the point is, yes, that's kind of what. Structure. I don't know if it was early.
One of my best friends actually. What's like But, I'm talking. See fabric. Yeah, we're trying to. Yeah.
So then that's what.
Oh, yeah. Yes, like here's the details. You see other. Yes. You try to develop. It's like. I know more person, but no person. I think. My. Better than me, dude. See what it does. No, we don't talk.
And I'm like,
Yeah, he's not even. I think the.
It's not my hands on it.
I just asked him. Fabric.
We have 3 more sessions we have at this point. And then we have a lunch break. You really like it. So, you know, want to kind of be very practical and effective, get your lunch, come back, entertain. Do whatever else you want to do, so we'll see how you can from your stuff, and you can kind of join us as you. So I think that's going to be the best way to optimize our time and not having to be very, very. Okay. For the final scene for students. Okay. So this next session is about Copilot.
That's not.
Enterprise-wide, getting its enterprise-wide. So when I first thought about this, I said, great, we have Copilot in our enterprise. I have, and I've heard people say great things about it. So what do? You have a new coworker, who does not complain, who works, who's already done everything from the day one. You know that one. Yes and no, right? So what is the data that this coworker is generating? So when you have intern join, you're always like having this everyday meeting with them, say, what did you learn today? How did you do it? You need adjustment, you need training, you need more information. You don't want to do that with Copilot. They have their own assumptions, they have their own ideas what they want to do, so it's tough. So our next speakers are Sati Kanan and Nazrul Sheikh. They also share a very deep passion for how you position data, analytics, and AI, just like I do, because I'm always talking about it. And I found that they like doing the same. So they are going to be talking about co-pilots as engines of digital transformation. I know, I think Sony said don't use the term digital. It's still happening, unfortunately. There are companies who are still in that process from the legacy. So Sakti is the CEO of Data and AI at Link Digital, which is one of the Link Digital, which is one of our sponsors. And they will be telling us how, when it comes to managing the training data, the learning data, and all the extra data that gets generated by just having the Copilot in your enterprise, how can you do it, and how can you do it well? So maybe they'll help us answer two big questions. How do you make sure that all your data gets a special treatment it deserves? And how do we ensure that innovation actually tends to be a profitable growth? So thank you, and give them a round of applause and welcome them on stage.
Everybody hear me in the back?
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining on a Saturday morning. This is Artikan, I'm here. I'm the CEO for Data and AI Business at Highly. I'm based out of Dallas, Texas.
Hey guys, I'm Azwal Sheikh. I'm based in Atlanta, and I'm part of Market Fusion Analytics, which is a part of Highling Digital, and we are here to talk about.
I'd like to start with a quick video about Highling and our Fabric partnership. Hold on a second. The challenge is the audio. Okay.
Complexity slows you down. At iLink, we turn chaos into clarity with Microsoft Fabric. Our clients have seen real results. A multinational fast food chain is facing high reported latency and operational inefficiencies. By leveraging Microsoft Fabric, we significantly reduced latency and delivered actionable insights, enhancing efficiencies. Similarly, an industrial manufacturer had fragmented systems leading to disjointed reporting. Using Microsoft Fabric, we built a unified data foundation that empowered self-service analytics. At iLink, we empower you to act faster, smarter, and with greater confidence. We're transforming businesses with Fabric, a success story woven in data. We are all in on Fabric. When you want to go from legacy to modern, fragmented to unified, batch to real time, insights to actions, manual to AI. Think Fabric. Think iLink. Your data and AI powered future begins now.
want to call out that we have been working very closely with Microsoft on the Fabric partnership. We have like pretty strategic partnership with the engineering team and strategy team and so on. And we've been like working with a lot of like Fortune 100 and Fortune 500 customers. And we in fact, we work with several customers in the local Atlanta area to like Coca-Cola. And we are winner of like around 9 partner awards from Microsoft. And as you guys know, there are tens of thousands of partners for Microsoft. Winning an award for Microsoft is considered like winning Oscars in the field, and we've done that several times, maybe 2 times in Power BI. And we also have several AI-powered accelerators that we have built that assist in different areas such as like multi-agent, multi-platform, agentic orchestration, or like accelerating the SDLC with AI and so on. And we are an Azure Expert MSP, Managed Services Provider, and we have like around 12 specializations, including all the 5 in data and AI. And we have a global delivery team of around 2,000 to 3,000 people, out of which like around 2,000 are certified in Azure. These are some of the customers that we serve. You can see we work with some of the largest companies in the planet, such as like AbbVie, McKesson, and Pharma, and like companies like Mars, Pepsi, bottlers from Coca-Cola, like Arca, Pimsa, and so on. We also work with a lot of manufacturing giants like Digital, and like companies like Morgan Stanley, and so on. So overall, we work with a lot of like Fortune 100 and Fortune 500 companies, helping them transform their businesses with AI powered by Fabric. Fabric, team standpoint, we have been like partnering along with Padma and team and taking this Fabric tour across the globe. And we've been also like top level sponsor in both Fabric conference. In fact, in March 2026, we are going to be back here for the Fabric conference. We are the State Farm Arena sponsor and the executive track sponsor. And we got showcased in like the previous FabCon, such as like in Vegas last year. The video that you saw got played in the internet of like around 4,000 people, and same with even in Europe, where like we were like one of the top sponsors in the FabCon Europe. And here we want to actually quickly talk about AI-powered experiences in Fabric. There are different flavors. We want to actually demystify what are the different options do you have. There is like Copilot in Power BI, there is standalone Copilot, which you can chat with your data, and then there is different options. We want to actually walk through the different flavors. These are the 4, when you talk about AI experiences in Fabric, these are the top 4. Right? One is like chat with your data. Think of it as basically if you need some precise answers or accurate answers on your business data. How many of you use Power BI here? How many of you have tried chat data feature? We should definitely give it a shot. This is probably one of the most let's say important areas where Microsoft is investing, right? Where you are able to chat with data in plain English. And since this is built on top of your semantic model, there is already all the business logic is put into the semantic model. So you'll get like pretty precise, accurate answers to your questions. And we'll see some demos. Fabric data agent, think of this as a virtual business data analyst. Okay. So when you want to get some precise answers to your questions, then you go for chat with your data capability. But if you're looking for analysis, okay, where let's say you want to actually analyze the trend and then analyze what are the reasons for, let's say, increase or decrease and let's say revenue and so on, and create a recommendation plan, that is what a business analyst does. So that is what Fabric data agents can be used for. And Copilot for Power BI, this can be used if, for example, if you want to, let us say, create reports, right? How many of you are like Power BI analysts or developers now? There are a few. So Copilot for Power BI can be used to, let's say, accelerate your development work and also get insights in the context of the report and so on. But I'm going to show some demos quickly here. This is a Notion site that we have created that actually has a lot of details about Copilots, and we'll share this link with you all. If you look at this, this actually provides a comparison of what are these different capabilities and then details around this. And we have some demos as well here. Okay, and we are done. But we also like provided a comparison of like how does it compare with like database agents or Snowflake agents and so on, scoring flows and so on. So this is a very comprehensive material that you guys can actually leverage. And then we'll go into some demos quickly. With data agent, you can connect to your data sources. Data source could be lake house or event house and like SQL database and so on. You can actually provide instructions, right, in terms of how the agent, let's say, should behave, right? What kind of, let's say, customizations that you can put from instruction standpoint, you can do those. And you can also put data source instructions where if you have multiple data sources, okay, you can provide instructions for each of those data sources. For example, if you're looking at procurement data or versus like, let's say, accounts payable data, right? So how does the agent need to consider those data from an AI standpoint? Those instructions can be put here. I'm going to show some questions here, right? I'm going to show a quick demo. This is actually a furniture company where they want to do some analysis around the products and sales and so on. So you can have like complex questions such as, if you give a question, you can ask a question like, sketch a quick cutout of problems queues, like what products that show up across low stock, poor reviews, and more returns, and give a short watch list. This is what typically a business data analyst would do, right? They will go and analyze data. The data may be coming in from different sources because your inventory data is separate. Your customer review data may be coming from different sources and so on. So the data agent can actually concept all these things together and then basically do the analysis like what a business analyst would do and provide a response like this, where it says, hey, these are the SKUs that you need to watch. These are the ones that has issue. And these are the common written things. Why are people returning the items? And what action should you take? The recommendations. Okay. So this is the kind of analysis that you can do with Fabric Data Agent. Okay. While, for example, if you take chat with data, chat with data is something that you can use if you want to ask any, let's say, precise question, right? How is my sales trending over the last, let's say, 6 months? Or is my gross profit increasing or decreasing? And how is it compared to the same period last year? If you're asking, like, who are the top 5 sales reps, right? If you're asking like very precise questions like that, since this is built on top of Power BI semantic model, the semantic model has all the business logic baked in, all the KPIs defined. It is more like a single source of truth, and it also has all the relationships baked in. So you will get like very precise, accurate answer. Okay. So that is where you go for tracking data. So for example, you can ask questions like what are the top 3 countries, or you can even ask some advanced questions like create a comprehensive product portfolio analysis that shows net revenue, net units, average selling price, gross margin, and so on. So you can ask questions like this to chat with data and get insights. Another way in which you can actually use Power BI Copilot, this is actually another separate feature outside of standalone Copilot. You can actually create reports, especially for the analyst or like even self-service users. You can use this to even create report. For example, if you look at this use case, you are saying, hey, create a new page for performance overview and add a set of KPIs, and then you can also say what visuals do you want. Okay, you can basically give prompt in natural language, right? And then it actually creates a nice report like this. This report basically gets created in, say, in a matter of seconds, just based on the prompts that you give. The more important thing is basically preparing your model for this, especially your semantic model that has all the business logics. Those need to be defined in a way where the AI can make sense of it. Okay, so that is where some hardware needs to go in, because the model is not good, AI is not going to be good. Like a bad model, bad data, bad AI, right? So you need to focus on preparing your model for AI, and then you can actually get outcomes like this. Just quickly going to go back. Just to summarize on these different Copilot options, standard data, which is also called as like standalone Copilot. You can use it when you want to search data across, let's say, workspaces, across reports, or across data models. Okay, or you can even actually ask questions on your data agents that you create. You can ask it to summarize it. You can ask it to explain and things like that. When it comes to for example, like show me the daily sales, or like the trend and so on. Whereas data agent as a Power BI Copilot, you typically use it to even like create report, again summarize reports, or like even especially when you're doing the data modeling, you can use it to, let's say, create descriptions for basically columns. Okay, if your data model has like 20 tables, each having like 20, 30 columns, you're not going to be manually typing the descriptions for those, right? So you can use AI for that. You can actually use AI, the Copilot for, let's say, creating a measures, DAX measures. So there are a lot of things that you can actually do with Power BI Copilot. And you can get like a narrative in terms of, for example, within the context of a report, when you have, let's say, slicers where you filter for a particular country or particular, let's say, product, you can actually create a narrative that takes all those filters context and then give you the response. And then the last one is Fabric Data Agent. Think of this as more for the advanced scenarios, where if you want to do some deep analysis on the data coming in from different sources, marry those data, and then like ask any analytical questions, that is where Fabric Data Agent comes into picture. Here, I want to pause to Nazrul, who is going to talk about how we will use this in real business scenarios, especially around things like revenue growth management, or like things like market mix or pricing, promotion, analysis, and so on. How can technologies like this can be used? Nazrul.
How many of you can you hear me? Okay. If you were there in the morning session, we were started by making a paper airplane and throwing it to the crowd. I was sitting at the very last in the last bench, and I was the back bencher. And I knew when he was throwing that it's never going to come to me, right? Backbencher may or may not be involved, but the way we are involved is we build strategy. We use data, but then what is the means? Why are we using data, and what do we do with it? That is what what I'll be talking about. Okay. So with all the things that are happening from a technology perspective, from an analytics perspective, the question is, how do businesses gain, other than the fact that now you have a Copilot, or you can have fewer data sets or copies of the data set. We work with, we've been working with a lot of different agencies as well as different parts of the organizations. And what we do is take the concepts of AI and AI-based solutions to the CEO and the CMO office and the CFO office. We try to answer simple questions like, if I want to grow my business by 5%, what can I do? How can I leverage all the co-pilots in the world and the data sets that are there, all the reports which may or may not be giving me the same data or same insights? How can I bring all these things together and build a strategy? Right? So Sanjay presented all the data agents and different types of agents and how agents work together. So that's what we do. We basically help the CMO office and the CEO office to figure out a few things. The basic idea being that if you look at an organization, it is siloed and it continues to be siloed from 2 or 3 perspectives. From a data perspective, because sometimes you need internal data, sometimes you have external data. It's from the operations perspective also, because the marketing person is very different from a finance person and also from an operations person. Right? So silos actually help improve efficiencies. However, there has to be communication. Right? So how do we bring everything together? To answer the question I asked, how do I grow my profits, let's say, by 5%? I have to invoke a lot of different things, and I have to come up with a comprehensive strategy in a short duration of time. Right? How do we collect information from different sources and build a strategy? It's not just pulling data using SQL queries. It's about solving an optimization problem. It's about understanding what elasticities are. So that is what the next step is when it comes to building strategy based on all the AI and other things, evolution that is happening. within the fabric framework, what happens is that all the data is integrated and is in one place. You can have a semantic layer which has some information about what is happening across the data sets, right? So even if you start looking at different agents and if you start looking at different data in silos, then there is an opportunity to communicate. And that is what we want to leverage and use, right? So that is what our solutions are. Broadly speaking, these are some of the things that we talk about. Most of the times, if you're forward looking or outside looking, you'll talk about pricing, promotion, and marketing, or new product innovation, right? So those are the 4 or 5 main agents that we have. And then obviously, supply chain side, you have things that are related to operational efficiency. Skip this. What we have developed so far is the concept of a cockpit. Concept of a cockpit, where we bring in the concept of how do you grow your business and what are the tools and levers that are available at one place, right? So you don't have to go and wait for the supply chain report for a few days and then build a marketing report out of it and then figure out how the money should be distributed between promotion versus marketing, so on and so forth. So everything in one place, with an agent-driven frame. So once you have the Power BI dashboards and all the different dashboards that an organization have, you have to go across them. You have to talk across them without really knowing which of the dashboards you need to talk to and how you need to get the right information that is required for decision making. Right. So that's we have built a couple of different agents. One is called the PGD agent, which is basically portfolio growth driver. If you are a portfolio company, it helps you identify where and how you should use your funds most judicially to achieve a growth target. We have the marketing related agent, which basically tells you where to invest, how to invest, who to work with, and what kind of writing plan and other things that you need so that you can achieve the growth that you need in a specific point in time. Again, to give to Sanjay's previous presentation, if you're talking about Black Friday, if you're talking about Cyber Monday, what is the level of discount? Where should you stock your inventory? And if you think that you'll have a stock out, then what do you do with the discount that you're planning to offer, right? So those are the media optimization and simulation agents that are there. And we have the ability to, have a good conversation with senior level people. And most importantly, also have the ability to create scenarios and situations which will help the business grow, right? That's pretty much what we do. We work with businesses, we try to understand what their problems are, but more importantly, we try to get all the information structured and all the semantics in place so that you can solve business problems. And using orchestration of different agents that are available that Shakti was talking about. I'm giving you 1 minute actually. So these are some of the things that we work on in terms of the cloud scale analytics. And these are some of the organizations and the specific problems that our agents solve within the Fabric framework.
Go back one slide.
If you have a question on this slide, Shakti will answer, not me. But yeah, that's what I skipped on it. Any questions, guys?
What is the level of human involvement in the business intelligence AI's output that
You repeat the question, please.
The question is, what is the level of human involvement in the output that is generated? I'll say one thing and then you can take over so that we're quick. Human involvement is on two sides. One is who wants the output. That will be a human. And how is the system generating those outputs? There will be some training. right? So once the system is trained, the involvement of the other side is lower, but the person who is conversing and trying to get to an answer will always be the person who is driving the discussion.
And it also depends on like how much upfront work you put in. For example, if you take the Power BI Copilot, you actually put in the work to prepare your data model for AI. This is a lot of business logic that goes into the model. So when you're actually using it, there is not necessarily as much, let's say, that goes in. Whereas like if you want to advance scenarios like data agents, that is where you can give agent instructions. You can actually give instructions for each of the data sources. You can customize to the extent that you need. Like there is actually a good amount of human, let us say, interference there to optimize the outcome.
And I'm so sorry.
There is a question there.
There's one more. Okay, quick one.
So the data that's being used in stored, are those in physical data centers in Microsoft's servers?
The data set.
I think the data that is actually stored, these are all like Azure data centers. Yeah.
This is like so interesting. I have more questions. I was going to ask more questions, but I think you answered some of mine.
Yeah. We have a good in the back. If there are any questions, you can always stop by. And one more thing I want to quickly highlight, we being leading Microsoft partners, we have access to the Microsoft funding programs to tap into to deliver a, for example, if you need to do a POC or like a proof of value or like a workshop and so on. That's something that we can help with as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. But now this is like over the hood, top down, how to start using it and how to start operationalizing it. So thank you very much for all that. So I just wanted to make a few announcements before I go to the next speaker. I think when you came in, you should have all got a raffle ticket. And I think before we break for lunch or after we come back from lunch, there will be raffles throughout the day. So make sure if you haven't got one to get one. So that was one announcement I had to make. The second one is the lunch piece, we will probably have to take our lunch and move to the 6th floor for the breakout sessions, and you can have your lunch at that point. Okay, so it's two housekeeping that I had to do. Okay, so the next one session is it's interesting. So all of you have played hop, skip, and jump, right? When you were a kid, or if you went, you watched somebody play the hop, skip, and jump if you did. So something about that also resonated with the next topic, which is about SAP data modernization. So to me, what that translates into is every time we take that from the hop to the step, we are pushing us a little further, getting to be a little more in our capacity to do things. So when it comes to modernization, we started off with the digital transformation, the hop. Then we took a step, we went into the cloud. And then with AI enablers, we are ready to make the jump. It's through accelerators and things like that. And what you've been seeing is the multi-agentic environment. So even with all this jumping, we still are to be grounded because at the bottom, we have to go back to what Jiva said, that's the data under the hood, right? You really have to get that one single view. And that's what the next set of presenters are doing, is they talk about the SAP landscapes and how that leap requires more than just momentum. It requires a strategy, precision, and the right tool. Maulik Agrawal and Satish Sharma from Sellable Technologies are here to show how the industry-ready accelerators are transforming the SAP data modernization landscape. With the deep expertise in solutions, architecture, and industry strategy, they're going to be helping organizations not just modernize, but monetize their journeys. So let's give a big applause for and welcome Suchi and Maulik. You don't. You may want this one.
Hello everyone. Audible back there as well? Oh, okay. Perfect. So thank you for giving us this opportunity to discuss our SAP modernization aspirations in front of everyone. Great to be in Atlanta. My name is Sujit Sharma. I'm based out of Houston. And with me is Malik Agarwal. He is based out of Seattle. I have roughly around 18 years, mostly with manufacturing organizations. And I kind of understand SAP very well. I have been a active SAP user myself for almost 10 years now. So before we start, how many people know here what SAP is? And active SAP users here? Perfect. So today what we're going to do is I'm going to start with the story a bit. I come from a manufacturing background. And I used to work for a company who used to make air conditioning machines. And we had a very grounded and a very innovative CIO. He spent a lot of time, a lot of years to modernize all the operations. He implemented SAP, and he thought that now he is completely figured out, everything is going to run very smoothly. Once at 3 o'clock in the night, he gets a call from his production manager that the line is stopped now because we have run out of bolts and screws. Now, this is how can we manufacturing running organization run out of bolts? And then he goes to his SAP system. He checks that, okay, I have 10,000 already in stock. He goes to his stock manager. He said, oh, no, we actually ran out, but we raised a purchase requisition. But the warehouse. So he goes and does another angry call to his warehouse manager and says, oh, but there is a purchase requisition, but we never received it. Now the chain of screaming keeps on getting worse and worse because then they go to the supplier, then the supplier goes to their vendor, and then they find out after 7 or 8 calls that their shipment is stuck right now in some highway because of the lack of tariff bookings. Now, what is the moral of the story is, you have multiple people in an organization, be it enterprise, be it SMB, you have multiple stakeholders and you have multiple personas. If only he had implemented Fabric, if only he would have implemented OpenAI, then his data would be integrated. All the departments would be real-time talking to each other. We, as Cerebral Technologies, believe that the data integration with the systems and with personas is the actual problem right now, which we can solve with our solutions. You have your teams in Microsoft. I think it's one of the greatest invention ever, because now that company can actually simply put a query on Teams and ask for and get this answer of this particular problem in 1 minute. They can track it faster, they are more informed, and this is what we want to do as an organization. Real enablement to the companies, organizations by the solutions from Microsoft and SAP. So let your SAP runs your operations, but let be the Fabric, the data unifying layer that is missing out, and use OpenAI and other Microsoft great technologies to talk to each other. Let AI handle the stuff and the stress so that nobody gets a screaming call at 3 o'clock in the night. Yes, go ahead.
So, thank you, Sujit, for this beautiful story. I wish it was fiction. Unfortunately, it's not. So, I'll just quickly introduce myself. Malik Agarwal here, Solutions Architect with Cerebral Technologies. Been with them for almost 8 years. I am totally excited about being here on a weekend, not just because my boss forced me. Well, I think I have the most difficult slot in this entire day. I have the slot just before lunch. So I see the, long faces already. So I try to make it as much fun as possible. So just before this presentation committed to me that he's even willing to dance, so just so that people enjoy. He told me that in confidence, but I fully betrayed him. It's all right. So on a lot of our slides, we have used some AI content, and kudos to somebody if somebody can guess what is that AI component. Right? Just if one of this the thing that is on this slide is AI. Anybody who can guess?
Photographs.
True. Yeah. I don't look that I don't have that playset. So, but anyways, so now I think we can start.
Yeah. you can quickly give a rundown on what Sellable is. Almost 3,500 people. We have been Microsoft AI Partner of the Year for 2023. Almost 70% of our workforce is Microsoft trained. We have a great partnership going on with Fabric and OpenAI and all the other components. The idea for us is to create, as I keep mentioning it, is to create industry-based solutions. And we focus mostly on manufacturing, retail, CPG, energy. The idea for us is that you have your legacy systems like SAP and all that. Now with the advent of all these AI solutions coming in, we at Sellable Technologies are at the intersection, which can help you combine both these two technologies, make it more usable for you. So that is what the idea is. We have a lot of advanced visualizations, offices in almost 70 countries right now, on and off presence. Here in US, we are based out of Houston. We work very exhaustively with almost all the solution areas of Microsoft, starting from your infra security to data in AI, and build specific solutions and co-pilots from us. We have created a lot of accelerators from our shop as well to make these technologies work faster for the organization. I'm going to probably
Yes. So, so just to talk about our fabric shift, right? Like we have been doing. I have been in this ecosystem with Sellable ever before Fabric existed. So we have been fortunate enough to see how Fabric came to evolution, right? We have very decent Fabric, practice, more than 450 certified folks, more than 40 plus 12 Sellable. So this is something that we do day in and a day out. So overall, yes, we have a fairly, big practice. We want to, yeah. If you're going back. Yeah. So before I talk about this slide, right? So Sellable Tech as an organization, we come with a lot of differentiators. So for example, when Suchit asked, right, a lot of people out there, they're SAP users, they have to deal with SAP, right? SAP is a fairly challenging system, right? It has its own fair set of challenges that the data set can get fairly convoluted, and the way the entire ecosystem works, it's not that easy to understand, right? Some of our founders are ex-SAP, right? So this is something that we understand at a molecular level, and what we've really understood, over our journey is that from a data and AI standpoint, that is SAP customers specifically, and the reason we focus there is because 80% of the enterprise customers, they use SAP, right? So if you're doing the likes of Fabric or any modern lakehouse platform, in this modern day and age, you can't really underestimate the importance of SAP as a data source, right? And it's not really just an SAP as a data source, right? Because it comes with its own integration. So it's an ecosystem. For example, any SAP customer would have their legacy warehouse called SAP BW. They would probably have BODS. They would, because due to an n number of challenges, they might end up with SAP HANA as a sidecar, right? And then you would have customers who would then go for third-party appliances like any big data platforms you can think of, right? This is pretty standard for an SAP customer, this is something that over a period of doing this for so long, they have really targeted motion forms, right? Let's say, for example, any SAP customer you talk to, they have a huge bots landscape, right? Which has probably been developed over, let's say, 6-7 years. Nobody knows what the hell is going on. Everybody knows that they have tons of jobs, when they want to actually want to talk about modernizing it, they want to, but they're so damn invested in that landscape and they don't even know where to begin, right? That's where we understood that this is where it's a real problem. So we come equipped with the BW model or a bots decomposer, where let's say you have this really complicated bots job, right? And you want to understand what is going on. We can actually help that decompose for you, and we can help you get it migrated to the likes of Fabric or any other modern paradigm for that matter. SAP HANA, right? Now, SAP HANA is also interesting because a lot of customers, what they end up doing is they end up using a lot of HANA CDS views or calculation views for a lot of reporting. And the nature in which that they're building those views are often recursive in nature, right? So one view is probably calling, let's say, 10 different views internally. And all of that often gets calculated in real time. And then customers blame that, hey, why is my data not, performing well? So this is where we again, decided to invest. So we have a dedicated HANA decomposition tool, where give us a complicated HANA view, will get you that entire chain, will get you that entire lineage, and will even generate a corresponding PySpark or a T-SQL based code for you, so that you can run it in Fabric for that. So another key thing, SAP Business Glossary. I mean, if you guys are familiar with SAP, I think almost all of us have dealt with those German names, right? Those they can be very difficult to understand. Another accelerator where we essentially what we've done is we've got a lot of context out of SAP, right? And into Fabric so that your data becomes easier to understand. There's a lot of talk about Copilot today, right? Everybody says that, hey, just give me a query that what is my net sales, but then net sales is probably some German column in SAP called something like NATWR, and how do you even map that gap, right? That often becomes a real challenge for such customers. So this is where we have created an accelerator, where essentially what we do is all of your SAP tables which have those German names, they can get mapped to their corresponding English names with a lot more description. So your system becomes more discoverable, right? The usability enhances quite a bit. BW, it's often a beast for a lot of customers, right? It's whenever I meet an SP customer, they always have the most complex BW landscape, and all of them are right, unfortunately. This is another piece where we have invested quite a bit, where we have a BW to PySpark accelerator, where we're able to migrate to Fabric fairly decently. So yeah, so I guess if I were to summarize it, right, SAP to Fabric is something that we do day in and day out, and yeah, we have got all the tools in place for it. We actually, this also I have a lot more slides, but I thought I'll just show a quick demo, right? So we have more Fabric accelerators. So yeah, it's visible, right? So I'm a solution architect at Syllable, right? So, and more often than not, these presentations that we give, they lead to projects, and unfortunately, I'm the one getting stuck with delivering those projects. And this is when we realize, right, what is at the heart of any code migration, right? It's assess, analyze, and then migrate, right? That you need to understand what is going on within whatever your landscape is. You need to analyze whether, hey, this is what part of this code is actually migratable, and then you need to actually begin the migration process, right? So that is where we built this tool. We called it CT Stitch plus Fabric. So things like, let's say I want to actually assess a long 3,000 line stored procedure or whatever, right? I just, we have this accelerator. It gives you a list of things that, hey, this is what is wrong with it. You probably want to understand, okay, you probably want to re-engineer this, right? Then I want to understand, okay, what is the actual effort it's going to take, right? And I also then want to understand, hey, what is that dependency, that how many tables is this pisky little piece of code actually affecting, that, hey, if I have to migrate this code, what is it that I need to have in place already, right? And then, all sorts of things, right? That what is the source and target level mapping and whatever. And then I can finally hit the conversion, right? So that's when this particular thing comes in, right? So yeah, I think suffice it to say, we come with a whole range of accelerators. Let me.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, this is just a glimpse of that HANA view tool, or a tool we were talking about, right? You have your HANA views at the top. This is where when we run it, we get this whole calculated lineage. And then once you have that lineage, you actually generate corresponding views on top of the likes of Fabric. Yeah. So this is something that is at sort of at the heart of Silicon, right? Why is Fabric the most common choice or the most go-to choice for SAP customers, right? Because for the longest time, Microsoft and Azure and in overall Microsoft ecosystem has really understood the challenges of enterprise customers, right? Uh, a lot of times SAP customers they have too many BI tools, right? This is where Power BI has been able to provide that standard go-to place that, hey, this is where you can generate all of your BI reports. From an EDW standpoint as well, more often than not, SAP customers or any enterprise customers, they end up with multiple appliances. Again, this is where, Fabric provides that good opportunity to consolidate everything, to democratize everything, so that you don't deal with multiple truths all the time. Microsoft is again probably the only cloud out there. Azure is probably the only cloud out there that has the most comprehensive SAP connectivity, right? Yeah, doing any kind of enterprise integration scenarios, it's fairly easy because of the connectivity that Microsoft is invented in. In doing any kind of AI ML or I mean generative AI, I don't think he will call it ML, but and teams, right? This is where actually we have been investing a lot. We have this concept called faceless ERP, where now with the whole likes of agentic AI, where you can actually do a lot of your business processes directly on top of teams, right? Where let's say internally it's all agents talking to each other. Let's say I have to create a purchase requisition. Internally, you just talk to it and that agent takes care of everything, right? So since we like to call it teams as sort of the business ecosystem or business OS of the world, right? So everybody's using it. I think everybody's on there all the time. Yeah. So building any kind of modern apps, overall infra, any overall. So from that standpoint, Microsoft really stands out as the most comprehensive cloud out there. That really adds to why Fabric is most often your go-to choice for any kind of these modernization stories. Yeah. So this is what your overall architecture looks like, right? For example, let's say you have all of your sources at the left, right? You have your whole journey going on, your medallion architecture going on in the between, and then finally your reporting. This is what actually enables you to do all of the cool and sexy AI stuff. So, I'd be more than happy to talk about this in more detail. It's at our booth. So since we are short on time, I'll quickly jump. So another area where we have been consistently investing is, more often than not, SAP customers, they face this challenge that, hey, we are okay to move, but in order for us to move, we lose out all of our investments of BW or any of our legacy systems, right? So this is where Celebel has again invested quite a bit, where what we have done is been gone after the base tables of SAP. And we have really understood the logic and everything that goes on within those complicated CDS views or existing BW content or whatever. And we have built them from scratch on top of Fabric, right? So you have your core data models built on Fabric, and now you're essentially free to do whatever you want with them, do any kind of BI, any kind of generative AI or whatever, right? So from day one, you can get started with this. We have a fairly comprehensive set of reports available. So yeah, so these are some of our case studies, right? This is another one where a customer had a fairly complicated landscape, the likes of all of the tools that I just mentioned, HANA, BW, whatever that you can think of, right? We help them migrate to Fabric. It's a journey for sure. There's a lot that goes into it. Similarly, we have more case studies, right? So this is something I don't want to go into the details and nitty-gritties of those case studies, but I would just like to say this is something we do day in and day out. I like to say, give us a system and we'll get it onto Fabric. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I know SAP, I haven't worked directly in SAP, but worked with people, and it is a monster. And so to have to use the fabric to get to what he said, made it so simple and easy, I think that's great. So wonderful, wonderful. They will be, you can talk to them and ask them questions. They have a table in the back. So do take advantage of that to, ask more questions. Sorry, we're trying to wrap it up so that we can get to the lunch and the next afternoon session. So thank you very much, OneLake, and
lunch is on the way, just so you know. Thank you so very much. And now we are going, how many CIOs in the room? Is there any? No, so maybe this is a good one to take the notes for your CIO, because the next topic is making every CIO awake at night.
housekeeping. Knock, knock. First raffle is going to be announced right after lunch, so.
Before lunch.
Before lunch, okay, after the speaker, before lunch, so, sorry. It's excitement to keep people going.
Yes, of course. So compliance, for me, it feels like, based on recent experience, compliance is where innovation meets documentation. How many agree to that? You or no? Okay, because it happened just a few weeks back that it took us less in building the AI solution, but more in complying, putting a security compliance in order to get us client sign off. So we do have the expert who's going to share with us how you can have this compliance aspect very easy in the Microsoft Fabric. So we have joining Kumar Velor, Managing Director of Data and AI at Level Shift, to talk about data compliance in Fabric. He's the expert in data governance and AI modernization, Chief Data Officer, Strategic Partner, a thought leader. Kumar's guiding principle is very simple. Lead with purpose, innovate with intention, build partnerships that stand the test of time. Whether you are navigating complex technological landscapes, unlocking the power of AI, or looking for a strategic partner to drive business revenue and strategic growth, Prashant is here to help create that bridge and to share with us insights on the data compliance in Fabric. Here to Prashant. Oh, come on.
Can you hear me? You hear me?
Hello, I know I need lunch. Yes, come on.
Well, you hear me?
Yes.
Good. I know it's right before lunch and that's what happens, right? The energy is low and let's try to pump it up a little bit. And the session before lunch and after lunch are the toughest ones to do, and here I am in the spot. And I've been told that I need to get this done within the next 30 minutes so that we can all eat lunch.
Can everybody hear him? Yes.
Is it better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
you. Before we get started, where is Syed? Syed, before you step out of the room, I just want to do a huge shout out to Syed for going through and arranging this and getting the approval. Syed and I started this conversation 5 months ago, talking about doing this event, and before I turn it over to Padma. So thank you very much for facilitating this, Syed. Is this working? Okay, I think we already went through the introduction. I'm going to skip that. I don't think this working. Okay, just a quick introduction in terms of Level Shift, who we are and what we do. Level Shift is an AI transformation partner. We are based out of Irvine, California. Of course, we have a presence here in Atlanta. We've been in business for the last 27 plus years as a strategic solution provider for Fortune 100 and 500 companies. We have satellite offices across, and we are Microsoft strategic partner along with like many other partnerships that we have as well. I don't think this model is working. As I mentioned, we are about 1,200 plus in terms of our resource force, and we have 100 plus certifications on the Microsoft platform. As an organization, we have multiple credentials at the BI, AI, and Azure Analytics space. We've been a Fabric Future partner for 2 years in a row. Honored and humbled, to be at that level. When Satya went on the stage in 2023 and 2024 at Ignite, we were featured as a strategic, Microsoft partner. So good to know that. Next slide, please. If you can do that, thank you. Just a quick show of hands. We've been talking about AI since this morning, data analytics, and we all understand that data is the fuel for AI. What I'm going to be talking about is more of a technical value-added session for the next 20 minutes. So I would really like to get your focus because you're going to take away with something that is more important in terms of how to secure data when it comes down to AI and how to do responsible AI development. That's what the session is going to be focused on. So quick show of hands if you are concerned about your valuable sensitive data that is being accessed by AI. Good, almost 80% of the room said like, yes, I'm worried about my sensitive data in AI. That's what we're going to be talking about. How do we protect that sensitive data in the Fabric platform? One more click, please. When we talk to customers, we typically hear about this, right? One is data silo issues, and Diva talked about it, Prashant talked about it, and so many others have mentioned this, right? Data is everywhere. The last 50 years, we have grown in terms of our data modernization, right? Now we are more into the AI transformation. As the systems grew in the last 5 decades, right? Each one of these platforms, from the mainframe to the mid-range, to the internet, to the cloud, and now to the AI, has been a stepping stone and a foundation for the next burst. And we are in the AI burst, and then the next one is going to be, who knows, super AI, right? So the data has been like, hosted and collected in the last, 50 plus years in different forms and shapes. So there's a lot of data silo issues. And also the legacy systems have grown enormously in the last 50 years in terms of their footprints. And data has a lot of structure to it, there's unstructured data, but most importantly, it's got like sensitive information. It could be like your SSN number, it could be your phone number, or it could be your address, or it could be just even like your last name. But it is sensitive data, and we're going to be talking about how to protect that sensitive data when you do data analytics, and most importantly, how do you present that data for AI agents. Next slide, please. And this is actually, an outcome of a survey that Gartner did, interviewing the top CIOs across the country. And if you look into this, similar to like how 80% of you raised your hands in stating that your data is important and you're concerned about protecting the data, that's what the CIOs said too. In addition to, the key initiatives or Gen AI, which you've been hearing since this morning, agentic AI, which is more of the AI agents and development around that, protecting the cybersecurity of the data is also a key initiative for the CIOs. One of the things is that, 80% of or 70% of the technologists interviewed by Delphix Purpose, which is a software company that specializes in data compliance, also said that there's a lack of data awareness from compliance and security standpoint when it comes down to AI development. So I just want to praise out the problem statement over here in terms of what we're going to be addressing in the next few slides. One, please. Just to summarize the business plane over here, data is at risk when it comes down to any kind of an AI development because it is being collected all over. Jiva said that, the data is being stored in 400 plus different places in terms of duplication. So if your phone number is collected in one transactional database, it is now hosted in 400 plus environments. So it is a huge breach. If the company happens to go through any kind of data breaches or ransomware attack, that data is exposed. So it's important to protect the data. And the speed of which the data travels is also enormous. There's constant changes that's happening to the data from an OLTP system to the data warehouse or to the OneLake where the data is stored. How do you make sure that the incremental changes to the data and that also addresses the data compliance is another important thing. And the third thing is the quality of the data, right? As the data is collected in different forms and shapes, stored across heterogeneous databases, it is stored in multi-cloud platform footprints. But what is important over here is, that data having integrity across the system. So that is also important in terms of quality of data. Sometimes, I think Prashant mentioned this earlier, that garbage in is garbage out. If you don't have the right data that you're dealing with, pretty much it's going to have bad data, and none of your reports or analytics or AI outcomes is going to have any kind of a meaningful results if you're working with the bad data. And it's important to address that too. What we do here is in a typical data modernization journey is take the customers through from a data unification, which is the foundation in terms of bringing the data from all the different places into one place. That is the most important thing to be done. The next stage in terms of like taking from the unification is establishing governance as to who can see the data, who's got access to the data, setting up the right security permissions, protocols, rule-based access control, and also sometimes it's important to do masking of the data too. How many of you are familiar here with masking quick, raise of hands? Good. So very few of them, but it's good to know that, you're familiar with it. There are different technologies, and acronyms available in the data security world. We are all familiar with encryption, masking, there is called tokenization, there is data obfuscation, there is data detecting, so forth. It's important, each one of this, has differences in terms of how the data is protected. I'll be happy to answer any questions after the session begins. It seems, in terms of if you have any follow-ups on that, those acronyms. But most importantly, it is important to bring in the data governance at the stage 2 in ensuring that you have the right guardrails and safeguards as to who can see the data before you can start opening it up for any kind of a predictive modeling that you want to do. And this could be like just reports or dashboard, or it could even be, building in some kind of predictive analysis, forecast analysis, or integrating with your LLMs or SLMs of choice to do those kind of stuff in your cognitive analysis. But this is kind of the stage that we do take a customer through in terms of the data modernization journey, and 70% of the heavy lifting is actually in the unification and the data governance stage. And how we do this is bring the data. This is kind of like the nucleus of the data modernization journey, kind of in a different schematic representation of the modernization journey that we saw in the graph. So the secure data is the key thing over here. And if you look into it cautiously, I call this not just data, but secure data. It could be your PCI data, it could be your PII, it could be GDPR, it could be CCPA, and any kind of HIPAA compliance too. It's important to kind of tag those data. And Microsoft Purview as tagging technology, which we'll get into it shortly. But most importantly, it's not just tagging also, but also mapping the data and how do you bring the mass data into your ecosystem for data unification. So you can start doing machine learning on top of that and have your models kind of learn from that data. And then you go on and start doing generative AI and agentic AI around your mass data. That kind of enforces that we have responsible AI development and we are good stewards in the data citizenship board that we're protecting everybody's data. Looks like we had enough of getting to know about Fabric right from this morning session from the keynote. If you look into it, this is a typical tech stack representation for Fortune 100 or 500 companies and also for mid-market segment. Any enterprise customers that you talk to have huge footprints of technology stack, right? Right from your data sources all the way down to your analytics platform and everything in between. Some customers have multiple CRM systems as part of M&A or just been in business for the last say 50 years or 100 years. They have grown into kind of inheriting multiple systems. There's a lot of duplication of data. Same systems kind of performing the same thing, right? From data integration ETL level all the way down to data warehousing or for analytic needs. The beauty of Fabric is, if we go one more click, please. Back, sorry. One back. There you go. So the beauty of Fabric is Fabric pretty much displaces all your siloed systems, your multi-products and multi-platforms, just with one unified SaaS platform. That's the data unification, that does the data transformation, that does the data cleansing, the data storage, the data analytics, and provides you an enterprise platform for your AI development. And in the process of doing that, Fabric, displaces pretty much all the redundant systems. We have seen this in action. And for the same reason, we are very deeply partnered with Microsoft at the engineering level in terms of integrating the data compliance solution within the Fabric ecosystem. And this is going to be interesting in terms of how the sausage is made, and I'm going to get a little bit more deeper from a technical standpoint to show you how that data is scanned, profiled, and masked. We kind of like looked at this diagram in different forms and shapes in multiple sessions today. What you see on the left side is the data extraction. Fabric out of the box provides 170 plus data source connectors. Again, let me say 170 plus out of the box data connectors. These are connectors for any of those heterogeneous or custom app applications available in the market. There is a connector already available where you can ingest the data. It could be a Salesforce data, it could be your Oracle data, it could be data in like AWS, it could be data in Azure, it could be your data in Google, it could be like maybe on-prem data in Postgres or Cosmos or Cassandra or Teradata, doesn't matter. That data is actually ingested into Fabric using those 100 plus data connectors, and it's kind of like pulled into something called Data Factory pipeline. It used to be called Azure Data Factory, and you heard this like when Sanjay spoke about it, there are at least 7 to 8 different products which used to be in silos in the last 10 to 15 years. Now it has been like, unified and integrated into Fabric platform, and Azure Data Factory is one of them. Azure Data Factory is called Data Factory. It is the ETL tool that helps to do the transformation and data cleansing. So Azure Data Factory plays a key role in terms of like helping you to bring the pipeline as the data flows from the heterogeneous data sources into your endpoint. And your endpoint here could be OneLake, your endpoint here could be Fabric, it could be your ADLS, or it could be even your Cosmos DB in Azure, right? But what I'm going to be showing you in the next slide, one more click, please, is how to go on and profile the data and how to mask the data. And this is where the beauty comes in, is we work with Expert Force, which is a software company that specializes, as I said, in data compliance. And we help to integrate, it's called DCS, that stands for Data Compliance Service. We integrate DCS into the Azure Data Factory pipeline. Once we do that, then we kind of look for any kind of a sensitive data. It could be your phone number, it could be your SSN, it could be your health information. And using DCS in the pipeline, we go on and scan and profile and mask the data. And I'm going to show you how that is done in the next slide. As simple as it looks like over here is when the data flows through that data factory pipeline, number one, out of the box scanning algorithms or PCI or PII or any of those regulatory compliance needs, we automatically kind of like we look for any sensitive information. We all know what PII is, right? This could be like your demographic information. We also know what PCI is, which could be your financial information. In LCAS segment, which is more regulated ID when it comes to compliance for HIPAA and for insurance needs. We also can scan for any of the healthcare information, right? It's got to do with your diagnosis. It got to do with like the patient information, and that is scanned automatically using the out-of-the-box profilers. Once the data is scanned, it is also tagged now saying like, this data is actually sensitive data, and then the mapping algorithms go on and automatically mask the data to a fictitious value, right? So your phone number no longer is the same, but is now replaced by a fictitious value, and that is actually go on and store in the database. It could be, again, any of those endpoints supported by those 170 plus connectors. When the data is stored, we are very cautious, right? Because your phone number could be making a lot of meaningful when running analytics and for reporting. So we don't go on and just replace that with a random digit, but based on business rules and what is required, we could only mask, say, like the first 6 digits of the phone number, so that we retain the area code, precisely, so that when somebody is doing an analytics in terms of what is the demographics, of this particular area code, that results are not skewed or diluted. So the algorithms are smart enough and also can be custom built to kind of like pick and choose in terms of what needs to be masked versus what doesn't need to be masked. And automatically it also masks for you if you let it to do by itself. Next slide, please. And here is just an example of 3 tables that I just picked for today's use case, right? What you see on the left side is the unmasked data. We have contact information, product information on orders. Each one of these tables is stored in a different data repository, ADLS, Salesforce, and SAP, right? Just to kind of like, demonstrate this. So let's say that, the last name is a sensitive value in this particular example. It could be also like, anything like your phone number or your address. And similarly, I'm also going to say that your activation code which is delta, in this particular case, is the sensitive value. What happens over here is as this unmasked data flows through that data factory pipeline as part of that data flow transactions, the DCS, which is the Delta Compliance Data Compliance as a Service, scans for this particular sensitive information, which is last name, and automatically masks Li into Yang, and similarly Delta into 0. The beauty of this is like, this data that is stored across like all these multiple tables, across the multiple heterogeneous systems, the product, the DCS, goes on and retains the data integrity in this way that, every time it senses Li, it is always masked to Yang. And it senses like Delta, it is masked to Zulu. In such a way, when you're doing the end result of doing end-to-end testing, you have data integrity as well as differential integrity intact, right? So that is kind of a beauty across like all the different heterogeneous systems that you can talk to. Not only for the on-prem, you can do the same thing when you bring in data sources from multi-cloud footprints too. The same data, Yang is going to be residing in, say, Redshift in AWS, or it's going to be in a Spanner database in GCP. It's going to go on and mask Yang to the same value of mask Li into Yang, the same value, so that the differential integrity is retained over here. Next slide, please. What you're seeing is what we call this basically in level shift is drinking our own Kool-Aid. We don't just go on and provide solutions to customers. We try to go on and put that in place and consume it within our organization before we start preaching and educating our customers and start driving the solutions. So within our organization, basically we moved all of our Salesforce data, data from Dynamics 365, our data from HR and financials into Microsoft Fabric. And this happened like a year and a half ago, and Fabric was relatively new. And we started seeing a big ROI in terms of leveraging Fabric. And you might be kind of wondering if the data from HR and financials are moved into Fabric. There's a lot of sensitive data. There's payroll information, there's people's phone numbers and contact information stored within like the HR and the financial data. So what we leveraged over here is the DCS compliance as a service, and we kind of identified in terms of what is the sensitive data is, and we mapped the data, and we mapped only the fictitious value of the data into the Fabric OneLake. And then we started using the Fabric platform, now open to data scientists and for data engineers to doing forecasting. And we started benefiting this internally within our organization too. How do we kind of like start predicting customer growth? Or how do we even start predicting, say, customer churn using this data now that's available, right? Using trained models. Next slide, please, and I'll show you that action. So this is some of the models that we developed. One is actually based on the univariate model, and as you can see over here on top of the graph, the univariance does not yield the same amount of results between the actuals and the prediction. So we went on with the multivariate algorithm. With the multivariate, you can see that the the data between the actuals versus the predictions are pretty close. And of course, the models get better as they are trained. Models depend upon like multiple things. One is the depth of the data, and the other one is like the years of data that you can bring in for the models to train from, right? So we let the models to train by itself, and using the multivariate algorithm, we were able to get close to actual prediction results that you can see over here in the graph in terms of forecasting. So just to summarize this, AI model outcomes for secure data. What we have done over here, as I mentioned initially in the session, to address the different pain points. We have 100% differential integrity across these data sources. The outcomes of the models were close to plus or minus 2% variance in terms of the outcomes that we were able to accomplish, and that's a huge thing. Anything less than like the main single digits is a great accomplishment. And as I said, like we let the models to train and get better as we provide more depth and dimensions to the data and use some close results over there. And most importantly, we were able to integrate data across numerous systems which had sensitive information and not worry about that data being exposed to the data scientists and to the data engineers to do their predictive work and modeling work. So bottom line, you don't need to worry about your organization when you have to provide sensitive data to your data engineers or data scientists or to any of your data citizens. The data compliance as a service integrates very well with data factory pipeline within the Fabric ecosystem to scan, profile, and master data. So the scientists have more depth and more dimensions of data which they never had access to. For example, I was talking with an insurance company, a data scientist in an insurance company a few months ago, and he said like they never had access to the patient information, which is understandable because of the regulatory compliance. And with this technology, now they can master data and the data scientists can now have access to the sensitive information. Now he's looking at the data and said like, the amount of prediction and amount of like modeling that he can do using the sensitive data kind of like helps to, improve patient, experience. And number two is to reduce the cost for the patient in terms of like, the treatments. So which is something like, they never had access to this because like that data was always stored in a private zone. And data scientists and data engineers never had access to the sensitive data, but now they do. So I'll just close it off with this particular slide over here. Fabric as the unified SaaS platform and the data compliance as a service integrated together helps our customers to solve some niche problems, especially in the data compliance and data security space. Number one, to look for any sensitive information. Number two, to provide the authority and the guarantee to the business users and to the CISOs and the C-level leadership team that the data is never exposed in terms of any compromises that could happen in terms of the sensitivity being lost when data scientists are working on the data. And most importantly, using the Fabric technology, the data quality is retained over here in terms of like less duplication of the data, in terms of like having the right genuinity and the right integrity of the data could be still preserved by using the Fabric architecture and the DCS compliance with those ones. So I'll just close it down. I know it's kind of like, just a few minutes away from lunch. I hope lunch is here. And I don't want to be holding you any further. Thank you for your attention. I'm hungry. I'm sure like you're hungry as well. If you have any questions, Carmen, who's from my team, and myself, we're going to be at the back table. We have some flyers and we have some additional information. Please do stop by and we'll be happy to answer any further questions. Thank you all.
The name Velar seems like, I have reached over Velar, it's the safest car. So Velar keeps you compliant and safe in terms of the data integrity and security. And we have Web, she has some
Quick announcement. So you ask a second grader for their favorite class and they say lunch. Lunch has arrived. We're gonna have to move quickly to catch up on the schedule. So when you go next door to the right, you want to go in the first door, grab your food, and go out the second door, and then go down to 6. So go in the first door, there are 2 lines, grab your food, go out the second door, and then go down to 6. Now on the 6th floor, we have 2 different sessions. Session 1, this is backwards. Session 1 is in room 610, and session 2 is in room 601. Don't ask, I don't know. So we have some wonderful talks. We have a women in tech panel that I'm a part of, and we have bridging analytics and action in the other session.
They asked like a couple of tables to go first, and then the ones that they would want to go into the
Back table.
Yeah, maybe it's up to you.
So we'll do the back tables, as y'all are going to do. The back tables want to go first.
So much everyone for being here.
You made it. The company uses RBI. The makes sense. Like it's very disjointed. A lot of financial supply chain, life service organizations that don't things and do support.
The breakout room. Let's go together.
Basically reporting, someone needs to.
together as.
Everybody is like asking
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're doing a lot now. We started playing with some of the.
That's right.
Side stuff, but yeah.
Yeah.
Trust you. Apple, you can grab it again.
Link up with one of the other, I used to have skates. Yeah, because.
Yeah, I mean, you're coming back in. It's something else I gotta say.
There's always clothes to be bought for Sunday. There is no. Don't go there, that's why I live there. I mean, it's been 16 my daughter took my summer, so I'm on foot, so it's like, well, my third eye. I love the 2 business days.
Difference between encryption.
Yep.
Thank you.
You know, if we have a speaker.
No one. I'm okay. Sanjeev's friend. Hey, yes. I never met you, but it's good to see you now. Sanjeev.
It's like briefly, not just with,
So when I came on. You're wondering, but I never met you. Of course, I'm gonna see you at a conference. Yeah. You know.
So,